Hello, welcome to tonight's stream. My name is Robert Hazeldine from Do Adrift Esports, and I'll hand you over now to our commentary team, Zach and Nick.
Very good evening to you, Robert Hazeldine. Hi, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in all around the world, be it via Facebook Live, Twitch, or YouTube. To Do Adrift Esports Live and exclusive coverage of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Wednesday Night Motorsport. The up-and-comers into GT4 and TCR, and we're in Virginia tonight. Just not far off the North Carolina border, actually, for this round of the series, the Virginia International Raceway. And we're standing by for a 40-minute race here for the up-and-comers, which, Nick, should be, hopefully, a little bit less chaotic than the Dodgem Car Derby that we saw last week on the streets of Detroit. When you look at the sense that we've moved away from the street circuits back to an open-flowing racetrack, there are still a couple of trouble points on this track, but there's a lot more runoff area to play with as well.
Yeah, look, it's hot track conditions at the moment, and a lot of the guys are making use of the grassed areas, as we can see in the background there. A lot of things to not hit around here. There's no walls right up against this track, so it should be good. Still fraught with danger with the hot track conditions, and unfortunately, I just saw an accident before where someone went off the track and couldn't slow it up in time, and then the track merged back onto their line that they were going in, and they hit somebody else, unfortunately. But I think we're going to have a busy call, but it won't be nowhere near as busy as last week.
That's exactly right. So this is, of course, round 7 of the championship. There are 3 rounds to go. Spinner there, heading off into the wall on the far side of the circuit. Now, interesting to note, there are a few different configurations at play on the Virginia International Raceway here, Nick. We are on the North Circuit for this race. We'll be on the full circuit for the GT4 TCR affair. This circuit in itself, just to give you an indication of how busy it is, folks, 20 corners on this circuit, 3.62 kilometres. As Nick said, very warm day, 31 degrees, partly cloudy, the track temp 41 degrees. The race, as I say, 40 minutes. Safety car speed, 88 kilometres an hour, and it's likely that we'll get one of them. Pit speed limit is 72 kilometres an hour. Incident penalty count every 17 points. So it'll be 17, so keep an eye out for that. Multiples of 17 we're going up in tonight, and 1 fast repair limit. We are, as I say, in the closing stages of qualifying here, about 2.5 minutes to spare, and it should come as no surprise to anyone, Nick, that Jackson Rayhana finds himself on top, but not by a considerable margin, only 1.8 tenths of a second separating him and Tim Harris.
He's having a qualifying shootout right now. He's whacked some new tyres on. I'm just following him now myself, and he doesn't want to be within the 10th of Tim Harris, so he's trying real hard.
Let's have a look at the championship points as we venture into this round. It is Rayhana on top, 244 points, behind Tim Harris, 215.5. Warwick Sharp, 207.5. And then, of course, Michael Ladder on 186.5. Jonathan Turner on 168. Josh Thomas on 158. Brett Selby Wood, 155. Tony DeRossi, 142.5. And Chris McCall, 142. Curtis Williams running out the top 10 on 134 points. Just one clear of Rick Vincent at this point in time. So in terms of those lower positions, still plenty to play for. But Jackson Rayhana is looking fairly formidable at the top of the order, Nick. It's going to be hard to stop him from here.
He's almost like a full round in front, isn't he?
28.5 points. Yeah.
Almost there. So we'll see how we go. There's not many left to go. So having talked to him, he really wants the end of season prize, which I believe is a paint job for a particular car. So he's going for it. He's not holding back.
Round 8 next week, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, Canada. Round 9 to be confirmed, and round 10 in a to be confirmed car, but it will be Mount Panorama Bathurst. So we're looking forward to that immensely. So closing stages of qualifying here. Jackson Rayhana sits on top, as we say. He's broken clear. He's got 2 tenths now on Tim Harris. In fact, almost quarter of a second to be precise. Julian Muckey has slipped up into 3rd position. Anthony Phillip and Ash Phillip and Grant Gill. Don't know where I got Anthony from. Tony DeRossi, James Catchpole, Brett Selby Wood, Curtis Williams, and Baden McDonald making up the top 10 there at this point in time. And it's a fairly close top 10, but at the same time, the Pro Mazdas open themselves to that sort of tight tussle, Nick, and I think we'll see a lot of slipstreaming and a lot of dueling tonight.
Yeah, on the 3 straights, well, I guess there's not really a straight on the back two, but the 3 straights should set yourself up for some good passing opportunities. It's going to be an interesting race to watch, especially there's a couple of new names in the field, and for the top, what are we? Top 17, it's 2.2 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's nothing. You put a wheel off and have to slow down, you could fall back quite a way. So, should be a good race. Cannot wait.
Flag out. Qualifying at an end here. No, I can't wait either. I think it'll be a little bit less hectic than what it was last week, but no less thrilling. And last week we saw some great racing in the streets of Detroit. This week, no concrete canyon, but certainly a high-risk circuit on those corners that Nick has mentioned already in this broadcast. Paul Nichols will join us throughout the course of the evening. In fact, he'll be in commentary with us for the second race this evening, which is GT4 TCR on this circuit. And what a great race that was last week on the streets of Detroit. This week, Virginia, that battle between Ben Snell and Michael Hammond resumes, and we're looking forward to it immensely. So, our focus for the moment, the Up-and-Comers League, which has delivered some great entertainment thus far. And I'll ask you this, Nick. Aside from Jackson Rayhana, because obviously he's a clear cut above at the moment, who's impressed you and who should we be keeping an eye on as they progress up into other leagues as the season goes on?
Well, I think immediately for the up-and-comers that Timothy Harris and Jackson Rayhana are going to have a bit of a battle here.
Yep.
Grant Gill, the Silent Assassin, I'm going to rename him on the thing. Silent Assassin. He just keeps turning laps. He's there. He's consistent. Yeah, he might spin out or do everything that we normally do, but he's always up there. He's got the speed. He's just got to get a little bit more consistency. So he's another person to watch. Tony DeRossi, obviously, we've mentioned him before. And then looking back, because there's a couple of people who haven't qualified, and some of them are ineligible to race. Chris Kisby's making a return tonight, so he'll be one to watch. But I think tonight, keep our eyes on the first 2. It's going to be a bit of a ding-dong battle.
I think so.
And Grant Gill and Tony DeRossi, if they can all keep it safe through turn 1, I think we're going to have a good full field of racing.
How good's that livery that Jackson Rayhana's running there? Target Chip Ganassi, of course. We're all getting excited about getting up very early next Monday morning and watching the Indianapolis 500, which kicks off at 4:30 a.m. coverage from 3 a.m. on Fox Sports.
I cancelled my work on Monday morning just so I can watch.
I think we're all cancelling Monday. I mean, it'll be after the 500, go and get some sleep and then regroup for the GT race from Phillip Island on Monday night that we'll be bringing you here on Do Adrift Esports from 8 Eastern time. So a lot of debrief of Indy to come in our broadcast on Monday night. Fingers crossed. I mean, it's been a Honda-dominated week there, but fingers crossed that the Chevys can do something come Monday morning and that Will Power and Penske can bounce back, because it was a very disappointing weekend of qualifying for that team. But well done to Marco Andretti. It's hugely exciting that an Andretti is on pole for the first time in 33 years at that venue. So here we go. Getting set. Jackson Rayhana, Tim Harris, Julian Muckey and Ash Phillip. Top 4. Grant Gill, Tony DeRossi, James Catchpole, Brett Selby Wood, Curtis Williams and Baden McDonald making up the top 10 on this grid. Outside Scott Baker, Jonathan Turner, Todd Heffernan, Josh Millard, Matt Robinson, Michael Latta. They make up the top 8 rows. We're standing by for a start here. Revs rise. The field is set at, I think we've got 24 out there taking the green flag, which is now Jackson Rayhana away nicely. Tim Harris went with him. In fact, Harris got the better jump off the line. He'll be on the outside. We've already got a spinner at the start line, believe it or not. That's Curtis Williams, who started in position number 9. He was on the grass. Everyone did well to miss him as they make their way down towards the first corner. Rayhana on the inside, Harris on the outside, and here we go. The duel commences. Rayhana and edges in front. Trouble. Spinner. That was Tim Harris. That's Tim Harris.
Harris, yeah.
Oh, would you believe that? What has happened here in the
Grant
first
Gill.
corners?
Grant Gill just spun out a second.
Oh dear, so Rayhana's just been given a free pass. We've got another spinner there in Matt sorry, not Matt Robinson. We saw another spinner there go off behind us. Very hard to keep up with it in the early stages. Already 3 of the top 10 have struck trouble. But Rayhana is clear and is leading the way. Harris in the lane. The evening shot before it even gets underway.
I'm not going to comment anymore on who your favourites.
Good point. Now, will there be any compulsory pit stops for these guys along the way, Nick? I didn't actually get to fuel capacity tonight. Fuel tank is 60%.
Yeah, fuel's not an issue. Fuel should not be an issue because I think, 43.2 litres is the max, and I think they can get through on 22.7 anyway.
Okay, so they should be able to cruise it in. So no pit stops for 40 minutes unless you strike damage or you get a dreaded penalty for incident points. Tony DeRossi's made a good start. He's sitting there in position number 4 at the moment. The field, off the circuit. The ocular aerial shot shows and tells the story.
Brett Selbywood.
Brett Selbywood, that was. Thank you, Nick. Comes back onto the circuit and has lost 4 or 5 positions in all of that. Now, he was down trouble picking him up here. He was 6th at the time, so he was following James Catchpole, Tony DeRossi, and now he's sitting well down the order. So, and it's just little mistakes like that, as you said before the race got underway, Nick. Little mistakes like that, when you clip the grass, you cost yourself some time, you can drop a lot of positions in the process.
That's exactly it. You just got to keep it clean. The track is hot. You're going to get a lot of sliding happening. So last thing you want is to get on the grass because there's less grip. These guys have just got to keep it on the straight and narrow and keep going. Ashley Phillips in second now.
So he's done well. Rayhana leads the margin 3.3 seconds already. We often ask Rayhana by how much. That almost bit us last week because he had a spin on lap 1. But he bounced back beautifully once the safety car, the inevitable safety car, was thrown. And struck back to win comfortably in the end. So it's Rayhana, Phillip, Mucky, then DeRossi. That's Julian Mucky in the 39 there, is it? No, sorry, that's Ash Phillip that we're looking at, because in front of him you can see that Tim Harris has rejoined the race, albeit a lap down. What a shocking blow for Tim Harris. Did all that hard work in qualifying and it was all undone before he even got a quarter of the way through the first lap.
Yeah, we're shaping up for a good one. But, oh well, things happen. he'll learn from it, and I'm sure he'll do a better job on the next one.
Oh, this is right. Back rejoining the full circuit now as the field makes its way around. Now, I was going to say this circuit not very common to the Australian audience, Nick, Virginia International, because IndyCar doesn't race here. You don't often see any of the mainstream motorsports that front up the Virginia International on mainstream television here in Australia. It's basically internet coverage, isn't it?
Yes, IMSA, TCR, that kind of thing turn up. They generally turn up here, but the coverage isn't the best anyway, and there's a lot of club stuff happening here. However, NASCAR, IndyCar do use the track to test.
Yep.
I just got word through that Julian Mucky has a penalty for contact somewhere, so he's got to drive through at some point.
You don't suppose that he might have got caught up in that incident with Tim Harris?
I do not imply anything. I don't have any evidence or anything along the line, so we'll have to find out.
Yeah, we will.
Race control can tell us.
Just having a look at the circuit in more detail. Moto America, the NASCAR K&N Pro Series, and also, as you say, IMSA WeatherTech sports cars. They're the main categories that you see here. Racing on a yearly basis. Although that being said, this year there hasn't been much racing happening. Here's a spinner. The 510 is pointing in the wrong direction. That's, of course, Jason Lee. Back on the circuit he goes now.
Good actor.
So, but in saying all of that, Nick, it's a little bit surprising that it doesn't get more mainstream than I mean, obviously, IMSA WeatherTech and also Moto America, because it's actually a fairly good competitive racetrack.
Oh, it's fantastic. Underrated. That's why it doesn't get used. Plus, I think because of such high speeds and fast corners, things such as IndyCar and the like, they need a FIA approval, that kind of thing. And I don't think it's too spectator friendly around the backside of the circuit where all the businesses happen. So, yeah, hopefully that changes. We just never know.
So, we've got Chris Kisby. I'm just having a look at Chris Kisby and Grant Gill going side by side. You've just picked that battle up on your screen there now, folks. And they're side by side. Gill's got the spot on Kisby.
Grant Gill in the Oculair car.
Yeah, after a little bit of jockeying and jostling for positions there. So they're battling over 12th, 13th and 14th at the moment with Curtis Williams as well. Or is it Matt Robinson behind? Oh, actually, hang on, that was Gill.
Slow down or something.
Gill slowed down and lost his spot to, yes. So that's quite interesting there. Gill losing out to Kisby after just getting by. So through the back section of the circuit. Ooh, traffic further back.
I think he was slowing down because him and my teammate Laser Dave had a bit of a coming together on the front stretch. I think he was slowing down to let Dave through, but Dave's got damaged steering now. So I think that's what might be going on, but we'll find out.
We will indeed. So we are just having a look at the running order. Well, it was 7 minutes of race time at elapsed last time by the line. Jackson Rayhana from Ash Phillip, Tony De Rossi. So the margin first to second, 5.6. And then this battle, Tony De Rossi, James Catchpole, Baden McDonald is a couple of positions back. Then Jonathan Turner, Josh Millard. And then you go back to Brett Selby-Wood. So Selby-Wood, despite that early spin, has still got himself in the 8th position at this point in time. The Oculair aerial shot shows and tells the story of Chris McHale being passed there by Philip Howe.
Still 20 cars on the lead lap.
Doing well. Grant Gill is still 4 seconds up the road from this battle at this point in time. So the 25 is Brad Stoyskew. I'm going to skip over that name a few times tonight, so apologies to Brad in advance. But he's the one that's actually got through in all of this to get ahead of Philip Howe and also Chris McHale there. And we've got Scott Baker running wide. He was the 4th car in that pack, in that freight train. He's running wide. Outshot himself. But he has now rejoined the circuit. So, a lot happening out on this circuit at this point in time. A lot to try and keep our eyes and ears across. Jackson Rayhana, Ash Phillip, James Catchpole, Tony De Rossi, Baden McDonald. The top 5.
Spinners everywhere.
Exactly. And again, it is the up-and-comers league. We don't expect perfection. We do expect mistakes. But it just makes a commentator's job very difficult to keep across all of that for you.
We expect action.
Well, this is right, exactly. We're about to get plenty of it here. We're on board.
Tony De Rossi.
So De Rossi's doing a nice job here chasing James Catchpole out of the north section of the circuit back onto the connection of the full circuit.
I love how there's no straight bits of road on this track.
Well, yeah, this is exactly right. It's
This is about the only straight bit here coming onto the front stretch.
It's like going through mountain roads, except without the amount of altitude and yeah, exactly, the runoff area. So you've got runoff area, you don't have vegetation, and you don't have as high a here we go, De Rossi. Oh, we had to look down the inside and couldn't quite get the job done. You don't quite have the amount of elevation either, but yes, like when you're going through those mountains, there's no full-on straight bits of road for any more than about 5-6 seconds. So we know what it's like. This is a cracking battle for third. James Catchpole and Tony De Rossi. On the inside, squeezed and job done. But I don't know if the stewards will. Actually, they've already redressed.
Fell off the road.
Tony De Rossi's redressed it immediately. I was going to say I didn't think the stewards had looked too fondly at that.
They got
for
plenty of
whatever
space
reason.
too.
Exactly.
And remember, that's 5 bonus points for no incidents, so hopefully they avoided incidents there.
They'll be very hopeful, I would dare say. But that's given James Catchpole a little bit of a buffer there, because with the redress that took place, he's also inherited about a 1.5 second buffer. So it's a double blow to Tony De Rossi and his chances of getting onto the podium. But he's fighting back, and he's still got. I mean, we've still got the better part of 28 minutes to go here, so plenty of time to get back in the fight as they come back across the start-finish line now. And Jackson Rayhana is the race leader by 10 seconds. Ash Phillip, Tony De Rossi, James Catchpole, Baden McDonald and Jonathan Turner, but Josh Millard is facing the wrong way coming onto the main straight. He's going to lose some time here. Julian Muckey's gone through, Todd Heffernan's gone through. Millard will come back across the line in position number 10 now. So it's an ongoing fight. Tony De Rossi, James Catchpole, 3rd and 4th in this car race. Here's Jackson Rayhana, I believe, just tearing it up in the Target Chip Gadassi entry. What a superb job this guy has done in all forms of the racing that we've covered here on Dual Drift Esports over the last 6 weeks. And I dare say he's looking at the next schedule, the next season, which is only a few weeks away now, Nick, and planning very strategically what he's going to be getting up to, because it won't be the up-and-comers.
I think he, as champion, you don't come back in up-and-comers, which is a good thing. But he's proven to be quite good in a lot of things. As we see on our screen here, Ashley Phillip, just as we cut away, went off the track, so he's going to have Tony De Rossi back on his tail again.
Indeed.
Ashley Phillip in the Williams liveried.
What a nice looking bit of kit that is too, with the Canon logo on the back. Excellent stuff, but he is going to be under pressure now. De Rossi right on his tail to turn 1, down the inside. That was a great dive, but he might just pull it off. De Rossi and Phillip side by side on the exit of 1, through the horseshoe, still side by side, but now De Rossi yields, and that's going to bring James Catchpole back into this as well. 3-way fight for second. They're 17 seconds off the leader. Forget about Rayhana, he's gone. It'll just be a matter of Rayhana by how much. He won't lap this field, but it'll be very close as he continues on. We've got our eyes on Phillip. We're looking back at De Rossi and Catchpole. Through the short chute they go, that brings them back onto the full circuit on the other side. If you think it's a fun ride on the North Circuit, wait until we get on the full circuit, folks. That's going to be a lot of fun with the GTs and the GT4s and the TCRs a little bit later on this evening. So, Tony De Rossi sits 3rd. Catchpole in behind him. Then Baden McDonald. It is a couple of seconds back from Catchpole to McDonald. Across the line we go again. Phillip still holding on to 2nd. De Rossi 3rd. De Rossi's actually handled these open wheelers really nicely. Nick, we mentioned last week that it was worth talking about, and we didn't get a chance to actually talk about it. The fact that he finished on the podium, a really solid performance from Tony De Rossi. There are some people that adapt to the open wheelers faster than others, and he's one of them. When you look at that race in Detroit last week, the fact that he was able to keep his nose clean long enough to be able to get onto the podium is an effort in itself.
Exactly. Missing, ducking and diving and dodging, all sorts of incidents. On the following day, on Thursday, on the Facebook page, there was multiple videos of people's races of the first few corners of just miraculous Houdini efforts of escaping crashes. It was ridiculous, some of the onboards.
So, Rayhana, Phillip, De Rossi, Catchpole. Chris Kisby's in the wall as well, off screen. He's trying to get back on the circuit. So we watch De Rossi follow Phillip. Phillip doing enough to hold 3 car lengths at the moment. Oh no, contact there. Catchpole. Did he collect Chris Kisby there? Coming back onto the circuit?
I didn't see it, but now he's got to run. He's down the inside here.
De Rossi down the inside of Phillip. So the battle for second continues to rage on, and De Rossi now finally gets the job done on Phillip. Around the outside, Phillip looking to strike back, but De Rossi's got the run and covers it for the moment. Well done. Very nice bit of driving that. Yes, they're 14 seconds behind Jackson Rayhana, but by gee, they're putting on a great show in the battle for the minor placings at this point in time. Now, what happened there to James Catchpole? He's dropping well down the order, and Phillips had a spin. Phillip has had a spin. No sooner did he lose second place, he's had a spin. There he is rejoining the circuit. I just was looking off screen there to try and get an indication as to where James Catchpole had slipped to, and he's still going down the order. And what does Phillip do? He goes and puts it in the grass, puts it in the weeds, does a little bit of mowing. He gets back on the racetrack, but he's lost. He's lost his second place on the circuit. He's lost third as well.
He's behind now Jonathan Turner, so I think he's fed back into sixth position there.
Next car will be Julian Mucky.
I did the testing with these guys last night at this track, and I said it was just like a fun roller coaster because these cars have got good high average speed. They've got the wings on, they're small, and it's just up and down this track. There's no real place to rest. Oh, more spinners.
Yep, exactly right. Everywhere you look, there's something happening at the moment. Who's out there running the Bailey's Ladders livery tonight for you guys?
That's Laser Dave.
That's Laser Dave. Very nicely done. So he's sitting out there in position number 20 at the moment. Brett Selby Wood is back to fourth place in all of that. Baden McDonald sits third now. Tony De Rossi still sits second, and now a comfortable second. 5 seconds clear of the pack. And Jason Wood is in the wall once again as well. So it's 16 seconds from Rayhana to De Rossi, and then another 5.9 from De Rossi back to McDonald. Brett Selby Wood trying to follow McDonald through there. Trying not to lose track position as well because he's got Julian Mucky on his heels. And now there's this three-way fight that you're looking at on your screen now coming across the line. Garth Horsfall. And down there on his inside was Tim Harris, who's got the job done. And now can Harris find a way by? No, not yet. So Harris trying to redeem himself, but he's a lap down, and that's going to hurt in the long run.
Yeah, he is scything through like a, well, there you go, makes it easy when cars jump off the road. But he's going through like a hot knife through butter at the moment, so he'll still be a lap down, but I think he'll be the first of the cars a lap down.
Now, I just, given how much has been going on so far here this evening, I've only just realised that my Do It Drift Esports Facebook Live feed was actually frozen, so I had to refresh that. I haven't seen if any comments have come through as yet, but if you are tuning in, feel free to say hello, folks. Big night of Wednesday Night Motorsport, of course, Virginia International, a track not overly familiar to us as Australian race fans, but a circuit that we're enjoying watching the up-and-comers on at the moment. GT4 TCR expected to be just as entertaining, just as compelling to watch. And they're coming up with the race start at 8:40 Eastern Time. So that's only 36 minutes away. We are half race distance all but here in this up-and-comers affair. Next time by the line will be Jackson Rayhana reaching halfway, and Phillips had another spin. Oh, it's all going to hell for him now. The 19 in the weeds yet again. Oh, well, when it rains, it pours, Nick.
It's one of those things, because this is a relatively new skill to a lot of these guys racing door-to-door, wheel door to door. Once you get flustered, it's very hard to get your concentration back on track, literally back on track. So blocking some things out of your mind and focusing down the road is some stuff actually I've been working on with some of the younger blokes or the newer guys in the group. And yes, it's very easy to get flustered, lose concentration, jump off the road, and then do it again, which then just makes the cycle even worse. For sure.
And this goes back to what we were saying the other night. The boys were commenting on just that very thing. It was Brake McHugh and also Jackson Rayhana were having a chat because McHugh spun once and then that unrattled him for the for the rest of the night. It's amazing how switched on these guys are with their mentality. It's sheep stations. Once they strap into the simulator, a lot of people might look at this and think it's a bit of fun, but these guys treat it very, very seriously. And once you do get unrattled, it's a bit hard to get back into the swing of things, as McHugh proved so beautifully on Monday night, sadly for him.
As far as I know, he had 3 corners to go as well. So it's one of those things you don't think clearly. That's why fitness is such a good thing. Even if it's just in a simulator, you still got time to disconnect your body from your mind and actually process things such as strategy and stuff like that. So just getting right mindset. Something I've been working on with my clients in my day-to-day job, but also in here. Getting the right mindset. Yeah, okay, you spun, but now focus on what you've got to do and don't overdrive the car from here on.
Don't you love how in the middle of a pandemic, because I was just having a look and making sure there weren't any notifications on the phone, Velocity frequent flyer points send you a travel offer. It's basically, it may as well be, you can fly from your car park to your lounge room. Because let's face it, you're not going anywhere at the moment. It's just too expensive on return. Fair dinkum. Jackson Rayhana, Tony De Rossi, 20 seconds the margin, first to second at the moment. Baden McDonald, Julian Muckey and Brett Selbywood, the next 3 through. Then Jonathan Turner, Todd Heffen and Ash Phillip, and then Curtis Williams. There is the 021 on your screen there. We've now gone from him away to the 147. Of course, the 147 is Tony De Rossi. So Tony De Rossi coming up on some lap traffic here. The 021 is, of course, James Catchpole.
Whoa.
Side-by-side slipstreaming down the main straight. These boys are taking it seriously now. Even though Tony De Rossi's coming through to try and put a lap on these guys, they're not making it easy.
Some shakers and movers. Baden McDonald from 10th to 3rd.
Yep.
Jonathan Turner from 12th to 6th.
Yep.
Todd Heffernan from 13th to 7th. And he's the first car lap down. Connor Brown, 21st to 16th. Big shout out to you guys. And just quickly on the incident points, Jason Lee has his quota of 17. James Catchpole's on 16. Chris Kisby's on 14. And Michael Latta on 13. Everybody else is on single digits or less.
I'd like to know who that was going off the circuit there a moment ago. De Rossi's still trying to get through this lap traffic and they're not making it easy for him in the slightest right here, right now. But he's just got to focus on keeping his nose clean and maintaining second position because he's got 7 seconds up his sleeve. So it's not as urgent as it otherwise would be for Tony De Rossi here. He's just got to play the patient game and we know how hard that can be sometimes.
Well, that's it. Controlling your emotions. You're just focusing on the task at hand. If it's high risk and you don't need to do it, time to back out. Just looking at Rayhana's lap times, he's doing 21s and 22s. De Rossi's doing 22s. Well, he just did a 24, but 22s and 23s.
So Rayhana leads by 23 seconds now after 23 and a half minutes of racing here. For those of you that are tuning in, we hope you're enjoying Do It Drift Esports coverage. Michael Porter saying, good evening, guys. Hello to you, Michael Porter. Look forward to your company again on Monday night, of course. And also Graham Kelly tuning in as well. So good to have you guys on Facebook. I don't know who's watching via Twitch and YouTube at the moment. I can only have the next screen up at once, Nick.
We got someone saying Jaxie boy, another one going Connor's going well, and Sunboard Muppet.
De Rossi, I tell you what, he's really trying his hardest to get by this lap traffic. He's having a field day of it. It'll be absolutely driving him batty.
A last comment here. A person by the name of Sunboard Muppet has put 2 laughing baby emojis on there. So I heard Jackson was getting some. Oh, jeez.
Fair dinkum. It's heart in your mouth stuff at the moment. You don't want to look, but you have to.
You got second place.
Take your eyes off it.
By 7 seconds, or it's now less than that, by 5 seconds, and the guy a lap down is racing you. That's very frustrating, but he's not in a race himself.
But here's the thing, when do you get frustrated about losing time? Because it's gone from 7 to 5. When is De Rossi going to have to, excuse me, when is he going to have to just lick the stamp and send it?
good question. It depends on once again, it goes back to mindset. It depends on how you're thinking. If you're like super desperado, you're gonna send it. But I think how close are we to the end of the race here? 24 minutes out of 40. Still a long way to go. I'd be biding my time at this point. Who knows? Let somebody else go through and put the pressure on him.
Sorry about that, folks. Just had a frog crawl into my throat.
Audio difficulties there.
It's a figure of speech. Don't anyone get too concerned. There aren't any cane toads in the house. But yes, that just required me to get Nick to talk for a few seconds there.
Audio difficulties, it's alright.
Exactly, excuse me again. So Rayhana, De Rossi and Selby Wood, the top three. So Selby Wood's got by Mucky. Jonathan Turner's well behind these guys now, but they're the ones that we've got to watch. Selby Wood and Julian Mucky, they're on our screen. We'll stay with them because 4.2 seconds. Oh, geez. Car kissing the dirt there on the exit of that corner. The last corner that brings them back onto the main straight. Looks like Ash Phillips had another off-track excursion at the same point. It's very interesting to watch this because actually, no, I stand corrected. It was another car on the outside right now. Oh, Mucky, he's thrown it away. Julian Mucky puts it in the grass, and Brett Selbywood breathes a sigh of relief. I was just about to say, Nick, we needed to keep an eye on them too, because they're still 5.5 seconds away from Tony De Rossi, but they were starting to claw that margin back. And now they're starting to lose time, and well, obviously Mucky's lost another 7 seconds, but Brett Selbywood's worth watching over the last 13 minutes or so here.
I think they're catching up to the same traffic now. Mucky's got Jonathan Turner on his tail now, as we can see on screen. So it's non-stop action, and they still have just over 13 minutes to go. So there's still plenty of laps.
Absolutely. So 12.5 because Rayhana's just crossed the line there, 27.30. It's interesting. Haven't had too many comments from the Rayhana fan club as yet to say that he's not getting much screen time. That's because he's out on his own. He's just doing it easily. We will get back to him shortly, but we've got our eyes focused elsewhere because we want to keep our eyes on Tony De Rossi and Brett Selbywood. Brett Selbywood slowly closing that gap to Tony De Rossi as De Rossi got caught in some lap traffic. Here's Julian Mucky under pressure from Jonathan Turner now. Across the start-finish line. Turner, will he fire it down the inside? No, he's yielded for the moment, but he's putting the pressure on. Julian Mucky knows he's there. He knows that fourth might not be his for much longer. He's under tremendous pressure. One slip up, and Turner is through.
I've got someone on here saying, let's go 154, which is Jonathan Turner. So they're all cheering him on. And we also have Jackson Rayhana, let's see him smash a lap. It's a little bit boring for Jackson at the moment, but yeah.
It has been a little bit boring, but I think now's probably a good time. Even though we have to do it again for the GT4 race, let's go for a lap with Jackson Rayhana. And I say we have to do it again for the GT4 race because it's a different configuration. But Nick, talk us through Virginia.
Braking down here at the 2 marker, down to third gear, get an early apex and then run it out to the outside and cut back in. I don't know what you call this, 1 or 2. Flat through here and then brake as soon as you see that house straight in front of you. Through here in third gear, back up to fourth. And we get into the really tight section of the circuit here. I go down a second, use a bit of curb, get the car turned in, watch out for lap traffic, drift it wide, and you should hold it flat from here. The wing should take over, and now you're on what we call the back stretch, but it's got corners everywhere. And then this corner up here is a really fun one. This is what I say as part of the roller coaster. You actually take it way faster than you think. It's uphill, on camber, it's blind on the crest. Use the exit of the road there, and now you're flat through all these little kinks. Brake for this one. Wibble wobbles left and right, left and right, left and right, and then flat through here, and then you rejoin the outer perimeter circuit, back down to third gear or second. Now you're through the downhill part, which is a nice fun roller coaster again. Second, third, fourth, maybe fifth. Apex on the left, apex on the right. Pin it, and you're back onto the main straight again. And that's one lap of Virginia.
Very nicely done, Nick. I still can't get rid of the frog in the throat, so it's going to be an interesting night here. Tahi Rahana just saying, I'm watching over Jackson's shoulder. That's the way I'm getting the Jackson fix tonight, so good on you. Because obviously we haven't had much of a chance to watch Jackson tonight, but we've just had that onboard lap with him. Now, you're talking about you don't know whether it's 1 or 2. Well, the second corner is turn 2. Then we go 3, 4, 5, and then we start getting this 5A rubbish again. So we got a 5A, we got a 6A, and on the full circuit we've got a 14A and a 17A as well. So, I mean, fair
yeah, the first turn, I know it says 1 and 2. I just count it as one turn, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I count the kink as a turn, and then that braking for where the house is to the first one to the left is what I call turn 3. But yeah, it's all what you call it. Wow, that's an interesting name. The last 2 turns are called the hog pen.
Yes.
And I can probably guarantee I know the reason for that.
Go on, elaborate, please.
So it's downhill, there's lots of grass, and I guarantee you when it gets wet, it turns into mud, and it just collects cars, because I can guarantee you the streams of water go across the road there.
Yep.
Trying to get through there, and you'll spin out and just end up in this big paddock. I guarantee that's why it's called that.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Now, here's Brett Selby Wood. The 420. Under pressure from Jonathan Turner. This is an interesting battle. Julia Muckey's up the road. So Muckey's holding on to third. Brett Selby Wood under pressure from Jonathan Turner. This the battle for fourth in the race. First, Jackson Rayhana, 29.2 seconds clear of Tony De Rossi, who's another 9.5 seconds clear of Julia Muckey, who has just 1.3 seconds back to Brett Selby Wood and Jonathan Turner, which is what we're watching now. And there's still a chance later in the night, later in the piece here, as far as this race is concerned, because there are another, what you'd say, probably 6 or 7 laps to go for Jonathan Turner to have a decent crack on Brett Selby Wood here. Now, it's interesting that we've had Joel Clark and Chris Kisby manually disconnect and retire from the race. The top 12 are still on the lead lap, and just the 3 retirements thus far. Jason Lee also retiring 13. Well, he's 13 laps down according to our split, so he wouldn't even be a classified finisher if he was still on the circuit. So Ash Phillip has bounced back to be in 7th position after starting 4th and going so well, and then having it all fall to you know what. And let's talk about Tim Harris as well. He's the first car a lap down, back there in position at number 13, so it just hasn't been a great night for him either. 1 lap pace, fantastic. Turning it into consistency over 40 minutes, that's the difficult part.
Yeah, and he's got some damage on his car there too, so it's going to hamstring him a bit as well.
But if he can stay the first car a lap down, he won't be too displeased, I wouldn't say.
It's a very bright car, you can't miss him.
No, not at all. Not at all. Rayhana leads De Rossi, 32 seconds. Muckey, Brett Selby Wood and Jonathan Turner. 6 tenths of a second between Selby Wood and Jonathan Turner right now. To turn 1 and 2 they go. GT4 TCR racing coming up for you, folks. Really looking forward to that on what will be a massive edition of Wednesday Night Motorsport for you from Virginia. Friday night we head to Phillip Island. Phillip Island's Monday night. Forget about that. No, hang on.
Friday is Phillip Island.
Friday is okay. I'm getting the days of the week mixed up at the moment. Friday is Phillip Island Production Cars, Stock Cars, because see, this is me thinking, hang on, I know that we're running there at least once, but I didn't have a look at the prod cars and make sure that, yes, it was the same venue. So, no, Production Cars, Stock Cars, Friday night, Phillip Island. Monday night, it is Suzuka, Japan. And then next Wednesday night, I'll let you know when we have a look at it towards the end of the broadcast. I think it's the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, from memory from what I said at the top of the broadcast. So, we've got 3 non-United States rounds in succession for the first time this year, which is going to be quite entertaining, to say the least. So, Jonathan Turner still chasing down Brett Selby Wood. We're inside 5 minutes to go now. Jackson Rayhana's doing a tremendous job, has done a tremendous job at the front of the field here. Forget about him. He's now put Chris McHale a lap down, Tim Harris as well. Matt Robinson and Todd Heffernan now the last cars on the lead lap and in danger. So too Josh Millard of being lapped before this race is done. So if that's the case, we could have as little as 8 cars on the lead lap by the end of the 40 minutes, which goes to show when it stays green, and I think we're all surprised by that car off on the grass there. I think we're all surprised that this has stayed green, Nick. When you look at when it does stay green, however, it just blows out very, very quickly.
Yeah. Just little bits and pieces, and I know I've been in races where you're going as fast as you can, you haven't made any mistakes, you're just not up to the speed of the leaders, and yeah, they just pull time on you, 10th a second here, 10th a second here. A fight that's caught my eye is a Josh Millard one, Matt Robinson, Todd Heffernan for 9th, 10th, 11th. They are nose to tail, so it's going to be the first one who makes a mistake back here. If we ever get some footage of that, we get to show you that one.
Yep.
And it's looking like it's going to be a ding-dong to the end, which is only 5 minutes away.
Yeah,
here it is on screen.
Less than that now. Actually, here we are on screen having a look at... Oh, geez. Had a look there. Straight through the grass. And he'll lose the spot to Heffernan as well.
That's why I
did not gather it up.
That's why I don't cut to them, guys. Look at the effect I had.
Yeah, well done.
Good timing. But Josh Lidd now exchanges Matt J. Robinson for Todd Heffernan now, so
that was
just keep going.
That was wild. Not that I like the use of that or the overuse of that word in mainstream media, but that was just a hairy moment. But he did very well.
It was right outside
Matt Robinson, yes, to get that cleaned up and back on circuit without spinning it on re-entry. So well done there. Doesn't do his race any justice though. He lost 2 spots.
Now Todd's got a crack at Josh here. So it's going to concertina back up again. I think Josh is struggling now with tyres towards the end of the race here. Josh has done consistent 23s the last couple of laps. Let's see, Todd's done low 23s compared to Josh's mid 23s. So again, it's going to concertina up. We'll see what happens.
Indeed we will. So Rayhana, De Rossi, Mucky, we're at Selby Wood, the top 4 here, closing stages. We're watching the battle between Josh Millard, Todd Heffernan, and Matt Robinson trying to fight his way back through as well. Scott Baker's off the circuit having an off-track run.
Speaking of Rayhana, he's looming in the background of this fight as well, a red car in the background. So this could tighten everything up when they have to let him through, or it could spread it out, which we'll see which way it goes.
We certainly will. There he is on your screen. You just caught him in the red car at the back there. Keep an eye on that. He's going to cross the line here, and it should be 2 laps to go. He should have done enough to get back to the line to have 2 laps to go here. 38 minutes, 28 seconds. So that's a minute 22. So he'll get back to the line with 10 seconds to spare. And Rayhana, who's on his second last lap now. That's interesting because that just gives these guys a little bit more time to sort out their scrap. Millard, Heffernan, Robinson. 1.7 seconds, and there goes Todd Heffernan around and out of the fight for 8th, 9th and 10th, or 9th, 10th and 11th, I should say. What a moment.
The 510 car in the foreground here has got some damage. Oh, we just cut away. So it could back it up again.
We just had Laser Dave Farrelly on the screen there, actually having a look up on the outside. If you don't mind, go for it, son. He's got rear wing damage as well, does Laser Dave, but it's not stopping him from having a crack until then. Now he clips the grass and spins him. It loops him at 1. Dear idea. Oh no! Contact! That was inevitable! That was silly.
That was a lap car.
Would you believe that?
That was a lap car on the lap cars right in front of Rayhana as well.
Wow. That was silly. And there haven't been too many of those avoidable moments tonight, Nick, but they're starting to arc up in the last few laps.
You get tired, you get flustered, you get frustrated. The race is quite a long race, and things start creeping in.
Jackson Rayhana's on his run home, ladies and gentlemen. It's the last lap of the race. We should follow him to the checkered flag from here because all these battles have now sort of fizzled out, for lack of better words. But what a performance from Jackson Rayhana. He's on his way home now. in what has been a superb outing, and this will be, I think, 4 on the trot for him in terms of race wins. Road America, the Circuit de Catalunya, then, of course, the streets of Detroit, and now right here in Virginia. And
Good evening, gents. Yeah, that's the pressure of Jackson behind you.
It certainly is, Chris. Good evening to you, mate. Good to have you on board. Stay there with me. We'll come back to you in a moment. We're just hoping that Rob can get us to Jackson Rayhana now, because we're following Todd Heffernan through here in 10th position. Rayhana should be coming across the line any tick of the clock to take the checkered flag and the win. The last corner, the checkered flag, and Jackson Rayhana gets the job done on a Wednesday night. You shouldn't be surprised by that. 4 on the trot for Jackson Rayhana, the 57 for Chip Ganassi. Gets the job done again. 41 minutes, 15 seconds. You missed that. Sorry, folks. Across the line, here goes Todd Heffernan in a photo, if you don't mind. And he got it, too, over Josh Millard.
Just beat Josh.
For 9th and 10th, and Millard slips back to 10th in all of that. Wow. Where do you start? Well, I mean, Matt Robinson was lucky to get through there.
Moves and shakers, Jonathan Turner, 12th to 5th.
Well, Heffernan won first, and then Millard got caught up in the second incident that we saw. And, of course, Robinson had his own moment before all of that started. I mean, fair dinkum, that battle, 8th, 9th, and 10th, we were right. Only 7 cars ended up getting home on the lead lap, but that last couple of laps and that minor placings battle was very, very silly stuff. Rayhana, De Rossi, Mucky, Selby Wood, and Ben Turner, the top 5 as Jackson Rayhana goes for a little bit of a loop-de-loop. He can light those tyres up as much as he likes now. The job is done. And as you're right, as you said, Nick, quite rightly, mover and shaker, Jonathan Turner, 12th to 5th. Baden McDonald, 10th to 6th. Matt Robinson, 15th to 8th. Chris McHale, 18th to 11th. And Laser Dave Farrelly from 26th to 13th. That's all right. Winning margin 41 seconds, if you don't mind, as we have a look at a replay of the results here, of the race here, I should say. Chris Kisby, you're still in the chat room. What have you made of the up-and-comers series so far, mate? It's been fairly entertaining from our standpoint.
Yeah, well, I hope it has been, Zach. Yeah, thanks very much for that. I've enjoyed it. I missed 3 weeks there due to other reasons, but yeah, I'm really happy with the way the guys go, the way they conduct themselves. I think being broadcast has been great for them, and you can see the skills coming up, except for mine.
No, it's been terrific, and I mean, spins are all part of the learning process. Paul Nichols, anything to report from race control, mate? Good evening to you for the first time.
Good evening. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Rob. How are you? Good to be here. Yeah, and race control, a couple of drive-through penalties tonight, a couple of incidents. A lot of people taking themselves out tonight. One of those tracks. I think this car particularly is tough around here, so I haven't watched the broadcast, but I'm sure it was entertaining.
Oh, it usually is. I take it you're jumping in to have a crack in the TCR GT4, mate?
Absolutely. Jumping in the Subaru-sponsored Audi.
Beautiful. What's next for you, Chris Kisby?
I'm sort of doing sort of one and maybe one of the others on the other. Yeah, no, my race tonight, I was doing all right for the first bit there. The 15th, I was fighting with Garth, I think. And my nemesis, I saw this red car coming up behind me, and it's not Jackson's fault. It's not the faster guy's fault. It's right. Just the intimidation of having those guys. You're doing your own fight, and I was catching him and doing this, and then I saw him, just got a glimpse of him in the mirror, and it was enough to break my concentration. And when he went to go past me, I went just a touch wide, hit the grass, and that was the end of my race.
Yeah, unfortunately so, mate. Thank you very much for jumping in to have a chat to us. Good to have you back on deck as well. And we'll catch up next week when the series heads to Montreal.
Certainly will, mate. I'll be there.
Beautiful. Jackson Rayhana, congratulations. You made that look too easy, if I can put it perfectly bluntly. In the end, 41 seconds to winning margin, mate. Well done and good evening to you.
Good evening, Zach. Yeah, it was, as it always, it's a lot harder than what it looks, I guess. I mean, the concentration for 40 minutes, obviously, you can't break that once, and especially in these cars. And the track conditions were very, very steamy tonight, so it made the things a bit of a handful. Then I'd sort of adjusted my setup to a cold track, so it was definitely not as easy as it looked, but yeah, no, it was good and had a few close moments there, but yeah, happy to come away with another win.
All right, just before I continue on with you, and we're going to keep it fairly tight here, Rob, we're about 10 minutes away from the start of the other race as well, so if you want to start loading that up, I'll keep talking here while I load my server up for the GT4 TCR affair. And apologies, folks, at home, you'll just be seeing the little Do a Drift Pug logo spinning around and making you dizzy on your screen there for a few minutes now. Jackson, you love these Pro Mazdas, but what'd you make of Virginia? Because it's a circuit that we haven't actually had a lot of time on in the past leading up to tonight.
Leading up tonight, I hadn't done any laps around Virginia. So yeah, it was another learning curveball, I guess, I had to learn over the week. But yeah, it's a fun little track, especially the North Circuit. I actually think I enjoy the North Circuit over the full layout. But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting jumping into the Beamer in a second, and yeah, they're a lot heavier and a lot slower. So
indeed they are, but well done on the North Circuit. Good luck on the full circuit, and it's a little bit concerning, I guess, not just for us but also for your competition, that you didn't have much time on the Virginia circuit before tonight's race and still won by 41 seconds. Well done. Get out of here. We'll talk to you after GT4 TCR.
Thanks, Zach. Have a good call.
Thank you, mate. Laser Dave Farrelly, you were a big mover tonight. It looked like fun out there, even though you finished the laps down, mate. You moved up nicely through the field. I'm just having a look here from 26 on the grid to 13th. Not without some incidents along the way and acquiring a little bit of damage, but still not too bad an effort.
Yeah, good fun. I had to avoid the balk in the first corner and evaded everyone and went back to the back of the field again and start again. And then
continue. Sorry, mate, go.
And I got touched with Grant and got my steering bent, so I had to. That was a slow lap, so I went down a bit for that one.
Indeed. Well done tonight, mate. Obviously, we'll touch base again because we'll see you on Friday night racing as well, will we?
No,
Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night. Friday night's taken up this week.
Fair enough. No, that's all good, mate. Thank you for that. And
good on you, mate.
Actually, just before you go,
yes.
Obviously you're used to the tin tops as opposed to the open wheelers. How are you enjoying the Pro Mazdas?
I'm open wheelers all the way.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so this is in your element then?
Yeah, mate, I love them. Good stuff.
Keep an eye on Laser Dave next week, folks, when we're back in the Pro Mazdas one more time. Good work, mate. Thanks again. And he's already vacated the building. I'm going to have a guess here. Tim Nay, is that you, Tim Harris?
Yes, it is.
Nicely done. No, it's just sometimes I don't know all these names, but good evening to you. And just for those of you playing along at home, the Discord chat server in which we conduct these post-race interviews doesn't always align with the names you see on screen at home there. That's all about. Tim, let's just quickly surmise your night, mate. Pictures coming in very shortly for you at home there from the Virginia International Raceway full circuit for GT4 and TCR. Mate, would it be right to say the one-lap pace is certainly there, but over 40 minutes it's a little bit more of a challenge? Because the qualifying pace, you were right there. We were chomping at the bit for a battle between you and Jackson. Unfortunately, it didn't eventuate.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I was a bit surprised to be that close in qualifying. Jackson's not actually human, he's alien, so I really took out TQ for humans, I believe, for the round, so I don't know if I get extra points for that, but it's a little thing we have where we call young Jackson an alien because he's out of this world, really, isn't he?
Oh, he certainly is. I was going to say, you must be happy that there is some pace there. Just talk us through the first couple of corners there, because that was where the night started to unravel. You had a spin. I'm not sure if that was the only moment you had along the way.
Yeah.
In the end, obviously, there was enough damage there to put you behind for the rest of the night playing catch-up, because when you rejoined the race, you were already a lap down.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's very similar to last week. Obviously, cold tyres, warm tyres, they're different cars. So Jackson did a better job, I think, of probably trying to manage it this week. But probably backed up a little bit just so he could hold some throttle through probably turn 5, I'd say it is. Some of the turn 5 is sort of where the issues occurred lap 1 last week. So I could sort of see that's what he was doing. He's backing off so he could hold some mid-corner throttle just to, keep it settled basically. Unfortunately, I didn't see who it was behind me, but someone thought it was a great opportunity to get a couple of places, and that was really the end of my race. So from then it was, car wasn't drivable back to the pits, it was missing wheels. I just ran round. I ended up 12th, I think, which isn't so bad, but these cars are so fun. They're a really good inclusion to the series. I like what they've done, obviously, with the series. The cars are all legacy cars. You don't have to buy the cars. You buy the tracks, which you're going to use in future, but you don't have to buy the cars. So it's cool, and it's really good part of the series, and I'm sure it's given everyone so much more skill. So if you guys are thinking about maybe getting involved for next season, it's only a couple of weeks away now. Up and Comers is a really, really good place to start. The camaraderie is really cool between everyone. Everyone helps out. The sort of pro mentors from the club, and also the sort of faster guys that are running around with share setups and knowledge and rookie mistakes, and we all sort of come out better, or at least we have a laugh trying.
Indeed, you do. We'll touch on your point there very shortly when we were talking to Nick and Paul in the post-race show. Tim, thank you for coming in to have a chat, mate. Your thoughts quickly on Montreal, because that's the next stop.
Montreal, it's got a lot more straights, so I think it's got to be easier, right? I don't know, something like that. But anyway,
in theory,
the hot tip tonight: Dave Roddle, Luke Turner. That's the hot tip.
All right, mate. Thank you very much for stopping by to have a chat to us tonight, and good luck next week.
Okay, see you, mate. Cheers.
Excellent work. Good to have Tim Harris in the post-race chat there with us as well. We'll catch up with Jackson Rayhana again very shortly as well. And I'm just getting a message here on socials, which I'll get back to in a moment, Nick. Only being able to control your car, that's 50% of the puzzle sorted. Not being able to control exactly what's happening around you, either behind or in front, that's where it always usually comes unstuck.
It's the luck of the draw, but that's why we have this, to teach these guys some good racecraft. Proximity as well,
Exactly.
driving, if you're driving with a single screen or driving with triple screens, driving with goggles, learning proximity and where people are. Also to have clean races, because I know one of my teammates, Paul Wood, the day I got triple screens, we went side by side for like 5 corners. I can't remember what track it was, but I could see that he was right next to me the whole way, so it was really good.
Zach, I'd just like to point out you are talking to the guy who tends to run into trouble on turn 1 due to cars out of his control. Don't forget that.
Don't you just love how he just rubs salt into the wound for you, Nick?
Well, that's why I'm going to start last.
I like to think of myself as, in the Muppets, the two old guys that sit up in
the old man, yeah.
I just yell out my stuff and then I
Start
disappear
last,
again.
Nick.
So, small world, as was correctly pointed out to me on Facebook Messenger. Hello to Tim. Tim's the husband of my cousin Monique, and he messaged me earlier saying he knows Jackson Rayhana from the trading forum. He said, "Small world, just watch that race. He's a good lad." And picked your voice straight away on the mic. Good job. So good on you, Tim. Good to have you on board on a Wednesday night. It's amazing that you just don't know who's going to tune in. The power of Facebook. People know people who sim race or commentate sim racing or just have an interest in sim sports in general. And there you go. So I'm glad that Tim's tuning in down there in the Hunter Valley, and I'm glad that someone's actually in the Hunter Valley at the moment because I can't get there. So I'm stuck up here in Queensland for the foreseeable future. But at the moment, it allows us to focus on plenty of great iRacing at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got Michael Hammond on top of the timesheets here from Luke Turner and Ben Snell. And apologies to Luke Turner. I mentioned the Ben Snell and Michael Hammond show at the top of the broadcast, Nick, but you can't forget Luke Turner as well, because he's been right there the last 2 weeks pushing Benny Snell and indeed Michael Hammond the week before every step of the way. He's been the real talking point of this series as far as I'm concerned. We know Michael Hammond, we know Ben Snell, but Turner's really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, oh look, a two-way fight's gone to a three-way fight.
Yes, exactly. Checkered flag out for this qualifying session. It's already concluded. Paul Nichols is in the house at long last. We'll get him on board in just a moment. I've just seen him turn his camera on here, so once he unmutes himself and is ready to rock and roll, we'll have a chat. Michael Hammond, Luke Turner, Rick Vincent, Ben Snell, the fast four at the moment. Michael Wilson, David Riddell, Jackson Rayhana, Grant Gill, Chris Polly. The top 9, they're all GT4s. The first of the TCRs is Josh Maynard from Paul Nichols, James Catchpole and Angus Cook. Then Nick in the Beamer, and then of course we go back. The Porsche. You're in the Porsche. Yeah. Going back further behind you, Chris Stark, Dylan Gray, Stephen Birchnell, Brett Selbywood, Matt Stratford, Jared Daly, and Scott Harris. Some have posted a time in practice, some haven't posted. So whether we get 14 starters or as many as 21, we will soon find out. Championship points very quickly before we get underway here. I believe it'll be a rolling start tonight, although sometimes they surprise me. Let's have a look at the championship points. Benny Snell on top, 239 plays. Michael Hammond, 219. Nick is sitting in third place at the moment and just smugly happy about that, I might add, on 214. Jackson Rayhana on 189, 187 for Glenn Postlethwaite, who's not on the grid for the second week in a row. That's an interesting point right there. The TCR lead might just slip out of his heels at some point if he doesn't continue to show up. Andrew Hayes, 178. Grant Gill, 147. Daniel Ackland, 144. Josh Maynard on 131. Chris Polly, 137. And that rounds out the top 10. So what have we got in the top 10 there? 3 TCRs and 7 GT4s. And a good mix of BMW, Audi, and Porsche. In fact, it's important to note that 2 of the GT4 cars are Porsches. So 5 Bimmers, 3 Audis, and 2 Porsches in the top 10 at the moment. And we are gearing up to go racing here. Qualifying done. We've got 15 cars that have clocked times thus far. Dylan Gray, the last of those, in 15th. Let's wait and see. We are on the full circuit this time round, ladies and gentlemen. We've stayed at the same end of the day. So normally when we do these races, we've got one morning race and one afternoon race. We've got 2 afternoon races in this instance. Sim time is Friday, May 15. No surprise there. We should just, know that. It shouldn't even be a point of acknowledgement anymore. 4:43 in the afternoon. So that's it's a fairly late start, but then again, sun doesn't set till after 8 o'clock in Virginia because of the smart, intelligent fact that they observe daylight savings. Stick that up your Queensland, and we go into the rest of the info for you here. 24 degrees, and that's the track temperature. Sorry, that's the ambient temperature. The track temperature, I'm getting question marks on that at the moment, so hopefully I'll get an indication. 37 degrees track temperature. It's just refreshed on the screen here. So it's interesting. Not as hot in either sense of the word. Not as hot ambient, not as hot track to get underway here, Nick.
Sorry, driver's briefing just going on. Yeah, it's not as hot, but I think the action will be just as hot, if that makes sense.
I think so too. Particularly when you look at this front 4 on the grid here. Really exciting race in prospect here. 17 points for incident count penalties, then every 10 after that. Fast repair limit of 1. It's a 5.26 kilometre circuit. Exactly the same number of corners, believe it or not, as the short configuration that we'll just on a few moments ago with the up-and-comers and the Pro Mazdas. So 20 turns here. We are set to rock and roll. 30% fuel limit. So that should suggest that we will have one quick splash and dash along the way here.
Possible.
Yeah.
It is possible.
It is possible. So
my goal tonight is no incidents, top 10, and I don't want to end up in the last corner pig pen, as it's called. So we'll see how this pans out. I hope it pans out really well.
Getting set for a start here, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a standing start. Once again, I've been
standing start. No.
Rob, can I get a director's cut, please?
Watch for jump starts, boys, because they have dual clutches, and everybody forgets that there's no actual manual clutch. And when they put it into gear, they all jump forward a bit, so there could be some jump starts here.
All right. We wait to see with interest. Thank you, Rob. I've got my eyes on Michael Hammond. I've got my eyes on Luke Turner alongside him. What about Rick Vincent starting in third spot? Always love to see the yellow car right at the pointy end of the field there. And alongside him is, of course, Ben Snell. This is going to be a fantastic race. Revs rise, cars roar. GT4 TCR on a Wednesday night. They're racing off the line nicely. What a start from Rick Vincent. Marty up on the inside of Luke Turner and pressuring Michael Hammond on the run to turn one. Ben Snell's been lost out completely there with Michael Wilson down on his inside. So Snell could drop back to fifth here. Car off in the background and in the wall. I didn't catch who it was. You just saw one car miss the braking marker completely and smash into the wall there on the outside of turn one. What a start. Rick Vincent's now lost out in all of that. He's been muscled out by Ben Snell. He's been muscled out by Luke Turner despite the initial good jump. He slots back into P4 right now. Ray Harner, a good start. Along with Michael Wilson and David Riddell. Nice start, clean start. Everybody through with the exception of one. We'll find out who that one was in just a moment. We had 17 starters. We had James Couchpole, we had Angus Cook and Dylan Gray down the back. So we'll find out who it was for you in just a moment. Remembering, of course, the GT4 car started at the front and the TCR car started at the back. Trouble. That's Brett Selby Wood sliding off the course. Jackson Ray Harner, Michael Wilson, both chasing Rick Vincent at the moment.
And me.
A long drag. Oh, Nick's in there behind. I only just saw you then. Nick and Paul in behind you. And the long draft. This is, of course, the run down to the chicane halfway along the back straight. It's a quick left, right, and left again. Shades of the old back straight of Hockenheim, if I'm honest. So this is, of course, the full circuit, the North Circuit here. As, of course, was what we were on earlier with the up-and-comers and the Pro Mazdas. We're on board with Nick now across the line. And after a good initial start, he's sitting 7th at the moment, putting the pressure on Michael Wilson on the outside, Wilson on the inside. And now Nick going for the up and under on the exit of the corner of the Porsche, muscling its way through at the moment. But Wilson not making it easy for Nick to get through there. Jackson Ray Harner's jumped up into 5th spot. His next target is Rick Vincent. Michael Hammond leads by 2.3 to Luke Turner and another 1.8 seconds back to Ben Snell. Normally those three are separated by about 0.3 of a second. They're separated by 4.1 seconds right here at the start of the race. A reminder, of course, it's 40 minutes from lights out to checkered flag. So 2:04 was the standing lap time for Michael Hammond when we normally have a rolling start here. And that's important to note. Race pace will be somewhere in the vicinity of the 2-minute mark. So you'll get 20 laps, no more, I would think, once you take into consideration the potential for a pit stop here. You may sneak in a 21st, but with qualifying pace being in the 157th, 158s, you would suspect that race pace will be the 2 minutes or the 159s at the very best. Now they head down the long draft, the back straight here, from 12 down to 13, the chicane, and then, of course, the continuation on down to 14. We ride on board. Very nicely done there on the outside. Oh, unraveled a little bit. That was Nick getting by, and very nicely on Michael Wilson.
Great camera angle here, Zach.
Absolutely, Chris. Good to have you in the commentary booth with us still as well. Hang around because we might cross to you for a few comments as we go. But interesting to note that we've got. Actually, I'll just come back to you there for a sec, Nick. It looked as though you almost outbroke yourself at the chicane there halfway along the back straight. It was as though you were trying to shortcut that chicane and make the corner as tight as possible.
Well, yes and no. The car got a little bit tail happy towards the end, so it started wagging its tail. So I had to try my best to keep the car as straight as possible, which meant I got an incident point, unfortunately.
Unlucky. And we focus on incident points because there are bonus points up for grabs with incident points, ladies and gentlemen. If you can get through the race with 0, you do merit, I think it's another 5 points. So,
Correct.
Yeah. So unfortunately for Nick, that 5 points goes begging tonight. It's so easy to get an incident point though. Chris Kisby, we were talking earlier. The boys are enjoying the variety and diversity of the up and comers series, the Pro Mazdas, the Mazda MX-5s, the supercars. TCR and GT4 is a completely different kettle of fish, but one that throws up some great entertainment.
Yeah, that's right, Jack. I had a run in them and a practice in them with the last few days, and just not good enough. I'd be a real roadblock for the guys. But I was watching them practice, and I had Nick and Nico Pop all giving me some tips and hints, and that grass is so slidey.
Now, we ride on board with Jackson Rayhana. Nick's got by Jackson Rayhana while we were talking to Chris there. I was just paying attention to something off screen. For those of you that are A-League fans, the last of the preliminary season matches underway at the moment. Melbourne City leading Western United 2-0 at this point in time. Final starting this weekend in the Hyundai A-League. Our attention continues here on the Virginia International Raceway. You're riding with Jackson Rayhana across the line. Nick's up at 5th spot, but I'm going to be happy with that after starting 10th. Jackson slides into position number 6 after starting P7. Rick Vincent has lost a position, as we said, from third on the grid back to 4th. Ben Snell, the only one that's managed to get ahead of him at this stage. But he's got a target on his back at the moment because he's got Nick and Jackson charging for him. Interesting to note the Porsches are holding their own here in the battle with the BMWs. Both Rick and Nick.
I don't usually see Ben Snell, so I reckon he's saving fuel because he has to hit, well, by my calculations, I had to hit 1.77. There's no way I'm going to do that. So I'm hitting 2.3, 2.2 litres a lap. So I'm going to have to pit towards the end of this race.
For sure. 100%. And let's be perfectly honest, this is going to be an interesting talking point as the race goes on because it was the defining point last week. Fuel saving. Some made it work, some didn't. Michael Wilson's had an off-track excursion just quietly in the background there. The Oculair aerial shot shows and tells the story for you as they head down the back straight. And it's interesting that Nick's noting that he can see Ben Snell. Last week, Snelly worked beautifully to fuel save and grab the win. Luke Turner had to do a quick splash and dash in the end. That cost him second. Jackson Rayhana come through to clean that up. Michael Hammond at the moment is all guns blazing at the front of the field, 4.2 seconds. So I think Hammond's banking on a pit stop, a quick splash and dash. While Luke Turner, I can't guess one way or the other with Luke, but as Nick rightly says, Ben Snell could be fuel saving very early in the piece here. And have a look at this, actually. Jackson Rayhana and Nick have both ganged up on Rick Vincent and displaced him. So Nick's through to 4th and Jackson Rayhana follows him through. Their next target is, of course, Ben Snell.
Snell-o-vision.
So let's see how that plays out. A lot playing out here in the early stages because, let's be honest, a run through the pits is going to be what? Probably no less than 30 seconds. So maybe we need to watch Michael Hammond's time and we need to watch Ben Snell's times as the race goes on. 4 laps in the books, the lead is 7 seconds. And we know that if Michael Hammond goes in and tops up and comes out, he'll be able to go all guns blazing because it won't matter what the fuel economy is, whereas Benny will still be in fuel save mode. So keep your eyes peeled on that as the race goes on. We'll chat to these guys post-race and get their insights anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Good to have your company. Dual Drift Esports, Wednesday Night Motorsport for the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Of course, proudly brought to you by Oculair, LJ Hooker Gander, and Central Coast Subaru. I'd like to be able to check in with Paul Nichols, but I can't at the moment because he's muted on all angles. So we'll have a chat with him as soon as
he's concentrating, I reckon, Zach.
And it's about time as well, because too often he has us in his ear, and it goes pear-shaped, so it's good to see him concentrating on the task at hand. Virginia International throwing up the goods here at the moment. An interesting race on our hands. Nick running in fourth. He'll be happy with that. He won't be happy about the incident point. But they are so easy to trigger, aren't they, Chris?
Oh, they are. They are. I did it in the last race, and you just got to touch the grass, and you get the incident points. And then finally, I got the black flag, and that was it. I was 2-3 laps down, so that was the end of my race. It's no use trying to hold up the lead guys when you're that far back.
Some interesting comments coming in. Sahey Rahana saying, my new favourite sport. I think everyone's enjoying sim racing more this year than they've ever enjoyed before. And also Parry Anastakis saying that I'm in fine form as usual.
Where is Parry?
I don't know. Parry, you're obviously watching on Facebook Live. Why aren't you on the track, my friend? Let us know. And
He should be in the bum dragger.
He's also pointed out that those Porsches are a handful to drive. Now I'll come to you on that, Nick, because you are driving one of those Porsches. It seems as though you're actually holding your own tonight compared to recent weeks where the BMWs have had the edge.
The trick with the Porsche is because it's mid-engine, you got to drive textbook. You got to make sure you brake in a straight line, come off the pedal nicely, and turn her in. I guess there's a lot of habits that people have picked up with the GT3s, GT4s, with the traction control, ABS, anti-spin, extra sensory perception stuff that they're braking and turning and chewing up front tires, whereas the Porsche, you got to drive it square, drive it straight, and it actually works really well. I'm actually not a big fan of any of the Porsches in this particular service, and then I drove the 718 again at the start of this season, and I'm loving it.
And should point out, there's some more Porsche news to come as far as the Gentleman Sim Racing Club is concerned, folks. So hang around for that, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with what we've got to tell you about that at the end of the broadcast.
Yeah, I bought one today.
Very nice. Hey, I tell you what, I wish my bank budget would allow me to do that. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I was just looking at the poll that I put up earlier.
The poll, of course, that Chris is referring to is on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Facebook page, which you should join if you're a sim racer and you want to get involved in what you're seeing on Do a Drift Esports too, folks. Because, as you see, it's always quality entertainment. Jackson Rayhana's made a rare mistake. He's lost, in the process, fifth spot to Rick Vincent. Rick Vincent goes through to fifth, and Rayhana back to sixth now with all the work to do.
He doesn't like this layout.
No, true. On board with, I believe, I can't say with any degree of certainty from that angle, but I believe we've got Paul Nichols. Yes, there we go. Thank you, Rob. The 001. And he's running around there in position number 10 at this point in time. He's the second of the TCR boys at the moment, is Nico. So he'll be happy with that. Or as Nick affectionately refers to them, the bum dragger.
Well,
now,
Parry's a front-wheel drive driver, and I've raced against him in stock cars before, so I don't know why he's not here.
Well, it's work duties, I've just been informed.
Right, bugger.
That'll do it every day of the week. Unfortunately, Parry's one of those people still considered an essential worker. So, well, actually, it's a good thing for Parry. It's a bad thing for the show in terms of he's one less car on the racetrack. But good on you, Parry. Thanks for tuning in. But that's interesting, because that's two blokes. Tim's at work as well. Tim O'Leary, who I was talking about earlier. He's at work too, but works very quiet, so he's listening in the background to us. And I dare say Parry's doing the same thing. So, clearly... Benny's in the grass! Benny's in the grass! It doesn't matter what he's trying to do in terms of fuel saving now. That's a big off. And he'll lose a lot of time in all of that. And that will just about put pay to... Geez, he cut about half the circuit there. He
went through the hog pen, one end to the other.
Low-flying Benny.
That was incredible. So he'll accumulate some incident points there, but he's back on track and he's still in front of Nick. But it does put pay to his fuel-saving ambitions, I would think, because, I mean, it's giving you precious little time to spare, the fuel save strategy, and a mistake just, you can't afford that when you're racing Michael Hammond and Luke Turner. Now, the margin Luke Turner has to Ben Snell is 3.1, and from Michael Hammond to Luke Turner it is 6.3 at this point in time. So obviously, Wednesday nights are very quiet at work for both Parry and Tim, but I'm glad that they're tuning in on Do Drift Esports.
I've got a story about Parry.
Please, while we've got time.
We were doing it's called the Weekend Warriors Stock Car Series on a Saturday night. We're at the Arkham Menards car, which keep an eye on that. We might be bringing that in soon for the stock cars at where were we? I think it was California Speedway or Michigan Oval, one of the two. They're both sister tracks.
Yep.
And my teammate was in Gary Cousins, so the top three was Barry, Parry, and Gary, and I was in 4th position at the end of that race.
I love it. Just quickly, it's also pointed out after the fact, mute is a wonderful thing on conference calls. So I like it, Parry. I like it. Jesus, it's been an entertaining night, hasn't it? We're not even halfway through this race yet. You're watching Nick on screen at the moment in the Porsche. And as I say, we're looking forward to what's ahead as far as the Gentleman Sim Racing Club is concerned. And I think we'll like what we've got coming for you in season 3 of 2020 as well, folks. But more on that at the end of the broadcast. And that'll be when we bring in Paul Nichols for a chat as well.
Snelly's in.
So Snelly's in the line here. Oh, now that's interesting. So clearly he's just not got the pace tonight. If he's in, or he's acquired damage going across country, Dukes of Hazzard style there. Angus Cook sitting there in 8th position, the leading TCR car for the 2nd week in a row at the moment.
Well, it's looking quite interesting for next year's cars in the up-and-comers there, Zach.
Yeah, what is on the agenda for the up-and-comers in the next series, mate, while we've got time?
Well, I put a poll up today for the guys to sit there and choose some cars. The top 3 cars will be the cars that we race. We've got Skip Barber coming in first. We got NASCAR Xfinity Oval coming in second.
Wow.
And we got the Dallara DW12s in third.
Dallara, yeah. The old IndyCar.
Nothing wrong with the Dallara. I like that. So what you're suggesting is there'll be a mix of oval and circuit racing in the next series for the up-and-comers?
At this stage, it looks like it. It looks like we're going to have some NASCAR.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And we've, of course, got plenty of stock car racing on Friday nights as well. On that subject, Nick, any chance that there will be some oval racing featuring in the stock car series next season?
Not the Friday night one.
Okay.
We have something coming for that, though.
Okay. Keep us posted. Michael Hammond leads by 6.4 seconds. Nick's got himself into 3rd place as a result of Benny Snell going into the lane. Nick Vincent 4th, Jackson Rayhana 6th at the moment. And you're watching Angus Cook on Chris Polly on his tail at the moment. Round past the tree on the run down the long back straight here, which is of course split by the one chicane. It's kind of like their version of, as I say, the chicane halfway along the back straight on the old Hockenheim layout, or their version of the Mulsanne straight at Le Mans, or just the Conrod straight in Bathurst. One of the 3, take your pick.
Well, that's what surprised me. Coming in 4th is the V8s, and I would have thought they'd have been 2nd. And then you've got a prototype coming in 5th. So, it could be anything.
That's the interesting thing too, Chris, because I feel as though the legacy V8s, they might be losing a little bit of their appeal, because obviously as we watch going into the lane there, Chris Polly's in the lane. You just saw that on the left-hand side on the right-hand side of your screen as we take you the ocular aerial shot along the main straight. It might be because they've already run the supercars. They've already run the legacy cars. If it was the new cars, they might have been a bit more. So that could be one of the reasons. And also the way they're trying to adapt and be versatile, they might be wanting to use the up-and-comer series to ply their trade in other categories, other cars, to enhance and broaden their iRacing experience along the way. That could be an interesting point to follow too, and I believe there's some change coming as far as the schedule for the up-and-comers is concerned too, folks. We'll talk more on that at the end of the night. Nothing official as yet, but there's a fair bit of drafts and provisions being released today from the Gentleman Sim Racing Club with regards to Season 3.
At the end of the day,
keep it interesting.
Well, there's more to life than supercars in Australia, so it's good that we're getting some variety.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, well, we actually got 2 votes for the 410 sprint cars.
Oh wow. Okay. So there's even some
clay action.
dirt fans out there. Why not? Excellent stuff. Now we're watching the ongoing GT4 TCR showdown here at the Virginia International Raceway, the virtual Virginia International Raceway, and we hope you're enjoying the show. Michael Hammond, Luke Turner, and Nick sitting there 1, 2, and 3. 6.5 seconds from Hammond to Turner. Now that's interesting that Hammond's maintaining that buffer. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of number Hammer's trying to crunch here. Some side-by-side action here. David Riddell and also Josh Maynard. And Riddell up the outside to get the spot done into position number 11 now.
I was just about to say that's a Rabbit racing car, but I couldn't tell who was in there.
Rabid or Rabbit?
Rabid.
Okay.
Rabid, yeah. Hey, just to confirm what Parietta Starkis is asking me on Facebook Live, and it's a good thing I've got it open tonight. Can we find out if Nick is fuel saving? Not tonight. He's
Negatory.
He can't crunch the number required to make it home without a stop, so it's negative. And I feel as though from the action we've seen in the pit lane so far, it's negative for a few people as well. There's Chris Polly on your screen, and there's David Riddell in the grass. Wow, jeez.
I know that feeling.
Riddell up a minute ago. We're just talking Riddell up a minute ago because he got by and found a position, and now he's put himself in the weeds. Not to be. Half race distance, 19:51 by last time by the line for Michael Hammond to lead this race by 6.5 seconds. So we're just past halfway. On those numbers, it is lap 11. If he does pit, it's a 20-lap race. If he doesn't pit, we might get 21. It's to and fro. It's very touch and go as to whether we get to... Oh, no, he's in. Hammond is in. Hammond is in right now. It's still touch and go because he's running 59s. Still touch and go as to whether we get a 21 or a 20-lap race here. So watch that with interest as well. It could be near seconds in that.
So Ben Snell came out 19 seconds behind me. So it's about 20 seconds turnaround pit stop here.
Okay. And it means that Luke Turner has the lead at the moment. Now, surely with Michael Hammond and Ben Snell both having pitted, Luke Turner will be planning for one soon as well. Jackson Rayhana's in the lane. Was that you in as well then, Nick?
Yeah, Snell just went past me. Gah.
So disappointed. So you just saw Nick in there with Jackson Rayhana and everyone pitting around about the halfway mark, the half race distance here after 11 laps. As Rayhana rejoins.
Unless you've got somebody on a calculator in your ear, it's just easier. You see how much
this is right, yeah.
Go from there.
And you all know that you're at a point now where you can fuel up and get home. So it might just come back to a case, to use Ben Snell as an example, that Michael Hammond's just got the edge on the boys tonight because clearly no one's fuel saving.
Yeah, Mikey's got the pace. Maybe Ben's not got the pace tonight, but he's still in front of me.
Circuit Gilles Villeneuve Montreal next week will be a fantastic outing for this series. I reckon for the Pro Mazdas as
Drag
well.
strips.
So join us for that. Exactly, 7:30 next Wednesday night. Dual Drift Esports, Gentleman Sim Racing Club for Central Coast Subaru, Oculair and LJ Gaindar. Reminder, of course, Friday night is Phillip Island for production car, stock car, doubleheader. I'll get that right this time. And Monday night, Suzuka Japan for the latest round of GT series, the GT3 series, that is to be more specific. And we are looking forward to that immensely. Suzuka Japan, excellent racetrack, should be a very exciting race, but very difficult to top what we saw on Monday night because that was seriously top shelf entertainment from the five men involved in that battle for much of the race. Jeff Connell, Brady McHugh, Emmerich Candola, Brenton Hobson, and of course Dennis Gaderick, who won his fourth race of that championship on Monday night. Paul Nichols was playing Sadie the cleaning lady on his Airbnb the other night, and he missed out on an absolute classic. So I'm looking forward to getting his thoughts on that after the race tonight, Nick.
Dennis, I don't know if I should disclose it. It's down to Dennis to disclose it. But Dennis has a very lucrative carrot dangling in front of him from his sponsor on his car. So if he wins the season, he gets a very nice reward. Hopefully he'll share that with you. I don't think he wants to talk about it till he wins the season, just in case he thinks it himself.
Yep. I won't mention it then. We'll wait until he wins the championship or not. Obviously, he's very much there in contention. Brenton Hobson, though, has form when we get Mount Panorama.
You guys do know we're live and I can't edit this video, right?
Yeah.
We're very well aware. That's why we haven't said anything incriminating yet.
Yes.
The night is young. No one started stirring me up yet. Paul's not.
Wait till Paul gets in.
Yeah, exactly. So the night is young. So Luke Turner, Michael Hammond. So that's because obviously Michael has pitted, Luke has not. Rick Vincent, Ben Snell, 5 seconds in favour of Rick Vincent as well. That's important to note. The fact that Rick Vincent is sitting third. Really promising performance from Rick at the moment. Down the inside, Jackson Rayhana on Grant Gill. Very nice move up into position number 6 he goes. The next target is Nick, but it's 8 seconds down the road. Very nice move from Rayhana, trying to fight back in what's been an otherwise somewhat disappointing race here for him. But again, as Nick highlighted, he said that he's not a huge fan of this track.
He likes a short one in the Pro Maz. He doesn't like this one in these cars.
Yeah. Maybe we should have reversed it, put the short track for the Bimmer and the full track for the Pro. Oh dear. That would have actually been interesting to see how Jackson handled the opposite. But anyway, we'll never know now. Some great race tracks to come in the next series of racing as well, folks. I haven't seen the schedule yet. I don't think it's been announced yet. But if it's anything like what we've seen in this series, you won't want to miss it. It'll be fantastic. But again, we'll talk about what the plans are in terms of Dual Drift Esports and everything else. As far as the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club is concerned, for Series 3 of the season, a little bit later on. So Luke Turner, Michael Hammond, Ben Snell. They're the top 3 at the moment. Hammond, the effective race leader. That's Rick Vincent on your screen there, doing a great job. He's now pitted, so he's now come out in behind Jackson Rayhana and ahead of, I'm going to say ahead of Grant Gills. So,
correct.
Despite the fact that the leaderboard is showing the other way around, but no, Vincent has got the upper hand there in 6th position. So it's now reflecting what we're normally used to seeing on a Wednesday night. Luke Turner, Michael Hammond, and Ben Snell, 1, 2, and 3, and of course yourself there, picking up some good points along the way. And 4th, Nick and Jackson Rayhana following in close pursuit.
Yeah, if only I didn't have that bloody off track. Oh well. And this is the closest I've been to Ben Snell all season, so I'm actually quite happy with this.
Is this a circuit that you like?
Love it.
Okay.
I've driven that much Pro Maz. Oh, Snelly's around.
Oh no, another off track.
You must have heard me say his name.
You put the jinx, put the mocker on him, and that's going to allow you up into position number 3, I would think.
Yes, I'll take it. I'm not going to argue.
We're not following you at the moment. We're following Rick Vincent, but we need to. Yeah, there's Ben Snell now.
Luke Turner just pitted.
Ahead of Jackson Rayhana, and he's off track again. He's just clipped the grass on the exit of that corner too. So Nick's going to hold on to 3rd, and Jackson Rayhana's going to come through and pick up 4th position now with Luke Turner in the pit lane. So that's all going to change because Turner will rejoin the race behind Michael Hammond. Nick's going to be 2nd in all of that, and off goes Snell at 1. He's just disconnected. Brett Selby went out of the race as well, and so too James Catchpole. And talk about flustered. Ben Snell, by gee. The championship chase unstuck tonight. Well, advantage Nick, advantage Jackson, advantage Luke Turner. Closing stages here.
Luke's just fed out in front of me, 4 seconds in front of me.
Yep, we've got him on our screen now. There you are, behind him.
You can see what I mean, where you've only just got to touch the grass, and that's it.
You're a passenger, Chris. Yeah, exactly right.
It did look like he was. It did look like he was helped a little there, though, from our view, looking at the back of the car. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think there was a bit of a taparoo.
For sure. We'll have to have a look at it on the replay though, just to be sure on that, Rob. Thank you. There's Nick on our screen now, but it goes back to prove and illustrate exactly what Brady McHugh was talking about on Monday night. As soon as you clip the grass, you're trying to play catch up. I think he described it as driving like a donkey, did he not?
And a big thank you to Ben Snell, who's just shared the stream on his Twitch. So thank you very much, mate.
Unlucky Snelly.
He's now out of the race. Yeah, good on you, Benny. We'll try and catch up with him next week.
That's a good member we want in our club. Someone who's finished up, but then still goes and shares the stream, even though it was unfortunate for him.
He's a young fella too, isn't he?
Russell, Russell Miss Prime just said Snell won this in his heart.
I reckon he won fans with that move.
100%.
Shared it around. That's awesome.
And to answer your question, Chris, I'm not 100% sure what Benny's age is, if I'm honest.
I have a feeling that I was talking to young Dylan the other day in the under-16s, and him and Dylan were having a good scrap in the under-16 race on Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, Snelly's a drift driver.
Well, it wouldn't be him.
I don't think he's 16.
I know it's another one of our young fellas. I know it's one of our other young fellas that Dylan was having a good scrap with.
Paul Nichols on our screen there now. Now we go back to Michael Hammond, who is the clear leader of this race. He's got 5.2 seconds up his sleeve over Luke, and of course Nick's sitting there in third. So only 9.5 off Michael Hammond. That's an all right run for you, Nick, to be that close to Hammer Time, who is and always has been, as far as our race is concerned, the benchmark.
Yeah, it was out to, I think, 12, 13 seconds. So I think he just backed off now, knowing that we got 8 minutes left in the race, 4 laps. I'm actually a bit worried for Ben there, because I think Ben was leading the championship. Now, Hammer Time's going to get maximum points for a win. I don't know if he's got any incident points, but who had the pole?
Who had the pole? That was Michael.
So there's 5 points there already. So, yep. I mean, it's...
The margin coming into the round was 20, and it was between Hammond and Snell. So, Hammond's going to go back to the lead tonight.
Yeah, so, it's just going to go swing back and forth a bit like a pendulum. Who it lands on is, we'll see at the end of the season. But, it's now going to swing back into Michael Hammond's favour. This
is lap 16. I'm just having a look, actually. That's 16 for Paul Nichols, I should say. We were just watching Nico there a minute ago. So it's lap 17 for our race leader, Michael Hammond. 32 minutes, 10 seconds by the line. So there are only 4 laps left in this race, folks. We won't get a 5th. We won't get 21. 20 will be the magic number tonight. The fuel stop, obviously, has put Page to a 21st lap in this race. No safety car again, so well done to all the drivers tonight, ProMaster and also GT4 TCR. The fact that we have not had a course car intervention tonight. Very clean night of racing. I mean, yes, there have been some incidents along the way, but nothing as catastrophic as what we've seen at places like Spa, for instance. If you'll pardon the honesty there. Michael Hammond leads Luke Turner 5.6 seconds the margin there, first to second at this point in time. Our good mate Paul Nichols is sitting second by 15 seconds in the TCR ranks at this point, with Angus Cook leading the way there. They are 7th and 9th respectively, and Nico's about to be under pressure from David Riddell in terms of the outright position fight, so that could relegate him from 9th back to 10th. It's the battle you're now watching on your screen.
I might just say there, Zach, it just shows the diversity of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club.
Yes.
We've now got under-16s racing, we've got the ladies racing, we've got the up-and-comers.
Do we need old-timers as well?
Well, I think we do need old-timers. And we've got all these different classes, so the diversity within the club is becoming really big.
Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, we cater for all.
Even the girls. The Gentle Ladies Sim Racing Club. Fantastic. No, I love the fact that the girls are getting in and having hit and giggle on a Tuesday night. As I said the other night, the boys are now, as Paul reminded us last week, fighting to use their own simulator because the girls are having too much fun with it. So it's good they're getting involved.
A report on
I
that.
don't have that problem. My partner won't come near it.
Well, that's
Well,
good then.
On some of the partners' fronts, so such as Jared Daly, they've had to buy second sims.
Yep.
So they've had to spend the money. I wonder where all the good equipment's going to go.
David Riddell down the inside of Paul Nichols. Job done. Matt will put Riddell into 9th and Nico back to 10th, but he remains second in the TCR fight at this point in time. There was nothing he could do there to stop the outright speed of Riddell in the Porsche. We go on board with Nico now through the back section of the circuit. That was at the end of the back straight where we saw that move. So they're coming back around towards the start-finish line now. Back across the start-finish line to complete their 17th lap. And there are just 3 to go. Michael Hammond leads this. He's a minute 17 ahead of this specific fight that we're looking at now, making it minute 21. So we won't lap them, but it's going to be a long gap between, obviously, Hammond getting the line and these guys coming back to complete the race as well. Josh Maynard could go a lap down. He's a minute 53 behind Hammond. He could go a lap down before the end of this race. But Hammond in a league of his own tonight, 5.1 seconds clear. There is Maynard on your screen, so that will be him going a lap down very shortly, I would suspect, as Hammond comes up on the inside and makes light work of it, I would suspect, on the run down into turn 1. He's got the lights ablaze, and Maynard doesn't make it any more difficult for him than it has to be, straight down the inside, and he goes a lap down. So there are now just 10 cars left on the lead lap, and it should stay that way, providing no one runs into any trouble. 2 laps to go for Michael Hammond, 36 minutes, 8 seconds gone in the race. He's definitely owned it tonight. But what I was going to say too, with the girls now getting involved as well, that's just a way of expanding the network, expanding the audience, and hopefully having more eyes on what we're doing on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night as well. Obviously, it's not a permanently paid position, so there are only 3 broadcast nights a week. I know everyone out there would like to be on there 6 nights a week, but it's just not doable in practical at this point in time. Yes, Nick?
I said it's better than the news.
At the moment, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know whether Zach's voice would go for it, would it?
Sorry, mate?
I said, I don't know whether your voice would handle it, would you? 6 nights a week?
Oh, look, to be honest, the amount of hours I do for the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club per week, I know it's about to expand, judging by the new calendar, but it's about the equivalent of a full-on day in the QR commentary box. So if I can get through that, all right, I'm sure I can get through this. And the key thing is it's broken up into 3 parts, so you've got 2 days in between to rest your vocal cords and go again, suck on a couple of strepsils and go. So I'm all right for the moment. There have been people, however, wishing laryngitis upon me for about 15 years. They'll eventually get their wish.
Yeah. They're just jealous.
Yeah. Here's Michael Hammond on the second last lap of the race now. What a brilliant performance this has been. This to me has been his most comfortable performance of the series thus far. He didn't look challenged. He didn't look headed in the first couple of laps tonight. He built a lead early. He cleared away and he stuck to it. 1 lap to go for Hammond here for Hammer time in Virginia. So 38 minutes and 7 seconds by the line. This is the last lap of the race, folks. You'll get back to the line. The clock will expire. The race will be over. It'll only be about 6 seconds after the 40-minute mark that we get this checkered flag here. Luke Turner sitting there in second position. Nick's in third, just getting through on some lap traffic at the moment. Only 10 seconds behind Michael Hammond, but 12 clear of Jackson Ray Harper, who's 4th. Rick Vincent is 5th. Chris Polly is 6th. Then Angus Cook, Grant Gill, David Riddell, then Paul Nichols. Then everyone else in the race is a lap down or out of the race. All the same. It's still saying that Ben Snell's only 4 laps down, so he might have got back out there. I'm not 100% sure. But James Catchpole, Brett Selby Wood, Michael Wilson, Stephen Birchnell, all out of the race very early on before the halfway mark in the instance of all 4 of those men. In fact, Birchnell didn't even make it past lap 2. We ride on board with Michael Hammond. The BMW Motorsport Sim Racing entry. Round he comes. BP Ultimate car on the run down the back straight for the last time.
And with that, I'll make some room for the drivers. Thanks very much for having me tonight, Nick. And it's been a pleasure to sit beside you and put a couple of words in here and there. So we'll catch up with you on the next one.
Mate, great to have you on board, and thanks for coming in. And we look forward to hearing all about the next series of the up-and-comers, and when that calendar is released, let us know.
Sure will, Zach. Good night, everyone.
See you, mate. We
Thanks,
look forward
Kisby.
to actually more action from Chris Kisby and the rest of the up-and-comers league next week here for the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club when we head to the Montreal circuit, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. Round onto the main straight. Here comes Michael Hammond to the checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen. Job done on a Wednesday night. Hammond wins again and resumes the championship lead in the process. Does it in Virginia quite comfortably. Luke Turner home in second. The margin 3.8 seconds in the end. Nick's going to get third. How about that? He didn't get the clean race with the no incident points, but he gets a podium finish all the same. Ray Harner comes home for fourth, so he continues his consistency. And fifth place is going to go when he comes across the line to Rick Vincent. What a performance that was. In the early stages, it didn't pan out in the end the way he probably would have liked, but he still gets very nice looking motor car, if I don't mind saying, across the line in position number 5. Good race. Right on, Nick, on the podium. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, third place, man. I'm very happy.
And my calculations suggest that'll put you second in the championship with Benny Snell being a DNF.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a surprise. Cool.
Well, you're on.
Consistency pays.
Well, I'm just looking at the. Is it 25 points? What's the win?
I think the win is 37, 35, something like that.
Yeah, and second?
Oh, I'm not aware 100% of them, but
Okay.
I think if I got 0 incidents, I could have walked away with 40. No, no. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. Adam Lavis is at his work pulling his hair out going, it's this. I don't know it. I'm sorry. He'll have to chime in.
Because, well, you were only 25 behind Snelly going into that race, so he'll get a 0, so...
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I wish he
and you're
finished
only
the race.
5 points behind Michael Hammond, so if you go through, Hammond will go back to the lead. You should go to second. It'll be nice and tight between the three of you at the top of the order.
Yeah, it'll be good. I don't have the pace those guys do, so regardless, I'm enjoying the hell out of it, and it's I'm still in with a sniff.
Yeah, exactly right. Well done. We'll catch up with you again shortly. We're going to talk to you and Nico post-race as well about a few different things happening with the Sim Racing Club, the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, Oculed, Do Drift Esports, LJ Hooker Gaindale, Central Coast Subaru, all of our partners. We can't do it without them, so a huge thank you as per usual. We'll get some drivers in here very shortly, so many of them standing by in the green room right now. What a great race that was. Really good stuff. For the second week in a row, I can now go through 6th through 10th because all the positions have been updated as everyone's crossed the line. 6th to Chris Polly, 7th to Angus Cook. The reason why we held off was the top 5 were within half a minute of each other, and then it was 34 seconds back to the rest of the pack. Chris Polly 6th, Angus Cook 7th, Grant Gill 8th, David Riddell 9th, Paul Nichols 10th, then Josh Maynard 11th, Dylan Gray 12th. And they were the only 12 finishers home. Dylan was 2 laps down, Josh Maynard 1 lap down, and he only went 1 lap down with about a lap and a half to go, as you saw there. Let's throw the conversation open to our winners here tonight and our losers as well. Dylan Gray, let's start with you, and I'll work my way up the order for a change here. It's always interesting for you up-and-comers on a Wednesday night. You go from racing now open wheelers. It was formerly V8s into GT4s. Now it's open wheelers into GT4s. How are you enjoying the diversity on a Wednesday night and going from the short circuit to the long circuit as well?
I actually didn't race the short circuit. I was in race control before.
Oh, that's yes. So last week you were in the up and comers, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So let's. I'll come back to the race control thing because that's interesting in its own right, and there's something to ask you there too. But how do you enjoy going from one to another on a Wednesday night when you are actually racing in the up and comers, mate?
It's going pretty well, and I'm enjoying it. Like tonight, I got my first ever 0 incident points race.
Well done. Nice performance there. What'd you make of the circuit?
Just not to put it 2 wheels in the dirt or put it in the wall and get out of people's way when they're coming past me.
Did you like the racetrack? Is what I'm more referring to, mate.
It was a bit tricky, in that with some corners, especially coming down the hill with that blind right corner. Because when I did practice by myself, I always went off there.
Yep. Yeah, it's easy to fall into the same trap when you make the mistake once, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Paul Nichols is in the chat room with us as well, as he usually is. He's finally unmuted himself and having a chat to us, which is nice. Well done on 10th, Nico. Let's just keep you in the chat here with Dylan for a moment, because Dylan was just sharing with everybody that was in race control with you for the up-and-comers and the open wheelers. Are you trying to recruit some people to control the ever-expanding calendar of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club?
Yeah, absolutely. And Dylan's put his hand up. We've got quite a few guys that have jumped in and helped us out with race control. So, I mean, yeah, it's an expanding club, an expanding series. We have more races on. So the more people that can help out in race control and, you know, take a bit of pressure off the admin guys. And we're giving them some training, and Dylan's doing very well. So, yeah, thank you, Dylan. And thanks to the guys that jumped in tonight and did a bit of training. So awesome effort.
I have a question, Zach, for Dylan.
Yes.
Yes. How has being in race control helped you back on the track?
It's helping me where, like my old habit, used to just dive bomb down everyone, tag them, everything. Since I started doing race control, I haven't been doing that habit.
I was going to say, Dylan, that sitting in race control does give you a little bit more of an insight or a bit of an appreciation for what goes on circuit, does it not?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually spoke to Dylan about that when he said, "Oh, can I come and join racing?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely, man. You can jump in, because you'll get a really good insight into what we look at and what things go wrong, and you know how drivers put their cars." And he certainly has improved, certainly his driving skill, and he's certainly learning a lot about you know, the overall racecraft, which is fantastic.
And I have to say, it was the same from when I was racing karts to then commentating karts. That's the only real world experience that I've got, and I don't do the sim racing per se, but it gives you such a different view of what's going on out there. You see so much more from race control, and I'm sure that's something you noticed tonight, Dylan. It's equally as enjoyable. I mean, okay, some people would prefer driving over officiating every day of the week, but you still get to be part of the experience, and you get to see so much more from behind the fence, and it's an eye-opener, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Excellent stuff. Short, sharp, and sweet. Keeping his answers short because he knows that we're already short for time tonight. Well done, Dylan. Thank you very much, mate. 12th tonight, and obviously Circuit Gilles Villeneuve next week.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun circuit.
Friday night as well?
Yeah, I'm doing Friday night as well, around the island.
Nothing better than the island on a Friday night. We'll see you then, mate. Good work.
See ya.
All right, let's throw the conversation around to Josh Maynard, who's in the room. It's easy to just go in the finishing order here, up from 12th up to 1st. Josh, unlucky in the closing stages there, mate. You only just dropped one lap.
Yeah, just dropped one lap there. Got my first pole in a gentleman's race as well. Not sure how that happened. I don't think the other guys were able to set a quick lap there, but yes, I got the pole there and just didn't get a good start for it.
Of course, we should point out Josh is referring to class pole in TCR, and they do split. So even though we were talking about qualifying times there earlier, folks, and there were a couple of TCRs in amongst the GT4s, they do split them back up for the race start, and obviously you see the TCRs come through. You obviously, clearly, compared to those around you, must have got your head around the track fairly quickly to get that pole position, Josh. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the circuit tonight.
Yeah, I absolutely love this circuit, especially where it comes into those harder corners like what Dylan was saying earlier, the blind right-hander there.
Yep.
Absolutely love coming into corners like that. It's just, I don't know, something about it that's, yeah.
And how are you enjoying the series as a whole, mate? Because obviously being TCR and GT4 this time around, it opened up a selection process. Do we go GTR? GT4? Do we go TCR? You've obviously gone TCR. You obviously like the car.
Yeah, not only that, but I had the TCR car. I didn't have any of the GT4 cars yet, so it was just cheaper to go with the TCR as well.
It always comes back to money, ladies and gentlemen. Everything in life always comes back to money. He's a smart man. Your thoughts on the remaining rounds of the series, mate? Obviously, Montreal's the next stop.
Yeah, loved the Montreal track, and I can't go wrong with Bathurst, so happy with that one as well. I don't think there's been anything up about the to be confirmed track yet, so looking forward to that one as well, whatever that is.
I'm looking forward to confirmation of that as well for very obvious reasons. Well done, mate. Nicely done tonight. Good to chat, and look forward to having you back on the grid. Will we see you on Friday night, or is it next Wednesday now?
Next Wednesday now.
Next Wednesday. All right. Go rest up and enjoy, and obviously hit Montreal running next week.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Josh Maynard there. Let's move the conversation. Actually, I just noticed Chris Stark's in the chat room, but I'm having a look at the entry list here, Starkey, and you were a non-starter tonight.
I was sitting up in the race control for both races.
Beautiful. So now we get an official insight to the night that was. And that answers the question too, because there were a few drivers sitting here with either a practice time, no qualifying time, and no so obviously a couple of you in race control. Starkey, good to catch up with you, mates, because normally this is what we talk to Nico about. What unfolded in race control tonight? Was there anything of interest that we should know?
The second race, there was me and Lethal Lee and Scott Harris in there, and we were trying to stay awake. We just generally chit-chatted while they raced the perfect race. The first race, however, I can understand why the boys need some help. The first couple of laps are insane, trying to get a hold of what's happened, who's hit who, all the different things that are going on. And, the club does such a great job of putting these events together that they should have an opportunity to race as well.
Absolutely. It always is an eye-opener, those first couple of laps. You kind of hold your breath watching the Pro Mazda, and any race in the up-and-comers, actually, but particularly the Pro Mazdas after what we saw last week. But a bit more of an open-flowing circuit meant a little bit less action, if I can put it that way. And as far as the GT4 and TCR race was concerned, mate, a lot happening in a very short window, but relatively clean affair.
I think there was only 2 points for race control. We held our breath at the start when it was one of the boys, his brakes failed and he went off at turn one. He went flying past everyone on the left. We all went, yes. And then Ben Stellovision did it towards the end, and I thought for sure he was going to take out Jackson Rayhana, who no doubt needs new undies. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty quiet.
I wore my brown pants today, mate, so it's all good.
A little bit too much information coming through from Jackson Rayhana there, folks, but we will get back to him in just a moment. Thank you, Starkey. Thanks for giving us the insight into what's going on in race control. Paul Nichols isn't available to come back to and have a chat to just yet, but we'll come to him in just a moment. Nick, obviously, whilst it's good to have a live race control, there will be the usual process in place if anyone wants the officials to go back and have a look at a particular incident.
Yes, that's through all series, all week, or every day. So that is there. There is a protest form if needed. We just ask that if there is a race that doesn't have race control, that they send part of the replay, or at least the replay in with it too. But this is why we're coaching up people in race control. They can actually see and learn and see what's incorrect and what things they can improve. They have a better overview of what's going on rather than being just behind the wheel. And thank you to Starkey for doing that tonight. Appreciate that.
Hey, you're welcome.
Very good stuff. Hang around, Starkey. We'll throw the conversation around in just a moment. Hey, full-time score for
just quickly.
Yes, Robert.
I have to say to Starkey, I believe I saw some photos of the car skins with the certain logos on them, and I have to say a big thank you. I like that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I only saw Starkey's comment about checking out the new livery after the broadcast the other night, so I apologise for that. I'll have a closer look next week. Now, for those of us that are sports fans outside of motorsport, there haven't been too many nights recently where we haven't had anything on, and that includes tonight. The A-League wrapped up with Melbourne City getting the job done over Western United 3-1, and now all roads lead to the A-League finals, which get underway on the weekends. So if you're an A-League fan, finally the season is reaching its crescendo there, and of course the AFL gets back underway, so to the NRL tomorrow night, the AFL on Friday night. will go around the grounds as per usual on Friday night at the end of the broadcast of the stock car race. Let's throw the conversation to Angus Cook now and say well done, because for the second week in a row, you've got the honours in TCR, mate.
Yeah, thanks. It was an interesting race. I almost didn't make it. I had some internet issues, and I don't know. I set 3 qualifying laps, and they didn't even go into the standings. But well done to Josh and his pole. So yeah, it was good to be in the race.
So just explain that to us. Was the qualifying problem caused by the internet problem, or was it just that you put a wheel off somewhere, or what exactly transpired? Because for you to go out and clock 3 laps and for them not to register, that's a bit of a concern.
Yeah, no, I think it was just dropping in and out. I still haven't really got a proper internet setup going, so yeah, it was just dropping in and out. And if you don't complete that full lap under, full internet connection, it just won't count it. So it was good to make the race. It was interesting starting. I think it was 4th in a one-make series behind a Subaru, an Audi, and then a Hyundai. So yeah, that was good.
Exactly. Yes, exactly right. Interesting point to note, ladies and gentlemen, that technology continues to be the bugbear of our existence in the iRacing world. But at least whatever has gone wrong in qualifying sorted itself out for the race, and you've come through in the end a relatively comfortable win. You were 26 seconds clear of Nico, who was second in the TCR field. And you spent a bit of time there fighting for track position with the GT4 boys.
Yeah, it was good fun. I really like this track. The last 2 have really suited me well. We'll see how we go next week. But it's definitely good to battle the back end of the GT4 and probably cause them a bit of an issue when they're trying to run their own little race and run smooth lines, and then a TCR car that's nowhere near the pace down the straights is just right behind them in the corners. Probably cause a bit of trouble.
Well, this is the thing, right? And this is a question that I might even ask the boys at the top as well, which we'll get to very shortly. Even Ben Snell, who's been kind enough to join us in here despite not finishing tonight, and that will have implications on the championship. And I don't know, because Adam Lavis isn't with us tonight, whether we'll have live update for you before the end of the broadcast, or whether we'll have to do that on Friday night, folks. But hang around, we'll see what's going on in around 20 minutes. Going back to you though, Angus, the interesting thing from my end is what goes through your mind on the racetrack there when you're so ahead in your class. Do you then turn your attention and shift your focus to that outright result, or if you see one of the GT4 boys coming on by in their own race, do you let them go? What goes through your mind there?
Definitely not going to let anyone past easy unless they are lapped.
Typical racer. I love it.
That's right. There's a few battles because really it is the outright result in the end, in a way that you want to make up the grid. Although it is a bit of an oddity in that it's a split class race. However, the pace is so close it almost, if there's a bit of a weight penalty on the GT4, it wouldn't be a mixed class race. So yeah, I wouldn't let anyone who was genuinely behind me past. And even though I'm in the lead, I still wanted to catch Chris Polly there in the end just as a target. But then you find if you're zoning out and whatnot, you just make little mistakes. So you need that target to aim for. So it's good.
And the other point as well, in terms of the class fight, you're out of contention because you're a relatively newcomer to the series, but you've started strong, which is really good to see. Looking forward to seeing how you fare when we get to Montreal, Canada next week. Do you like it, the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve?
Well, I've just purchased it for the Skippy's officials this week, so it's going to be good. There's a good website out there that lets you check what you can purchase and get the most use out of, so that's handy. And that was right at the top. So maybe cut some laps. Wednesday nights are either yes or no for me, so it's good to be in here the last few weeks, but who knows if I'll make it.
Well, this is exactly right. We've got our fingers crossed for you, mate. Good performance tonight.
Yeah. Angus, don't stress if we can't make it, mate. So I'll be happy to take your position. Not a problem.
That sounds good. A Subaru winning the Audi class.
Yeah. Paul Nichols, I will come to you in just a moment and ask you about your night because it looks like you had a great time. But well done, Angus, and we'll catch up with you next week, mate. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Right, let's throw the conversation to our, I was going to say our top 4, but Nick's in there busy at the moment, punching away. What I was more referring to is Ben Snell didn't finish in the top 4 tonight, and that's the first time we've said that in a while. Snelly, what happened, mate? Because it looked like once the wheels fell off, they just didn't want to screw back on.
Oh, I told you last week that I'm terrible at VIR, and I absolutely proved it tonight, didn't I?
You did indeed. Not that I wanted to say that, but if you're going to say it, I'll agree with you. Hey, we were having this conversation. Nick speculated earlier in the broadcast that you might have been trying the fuel save mission, but it was just a case of, again, your dislike, your disdain for this circuit that Mikey was able to pull away pretty quickly.
Yeah, I did not have the pace for Mikey or even Luke tonight. Those two definitely had me. Although I think I did pop the fastest lap halfway through the race somehow, so I'll take that.
Yeah, correct. You did too, Ben. Yeah, 157.8.
So I will take that at least. But
Small mercies. Yep.
Yeah, small victories. You clutch on anything you can get. I was starting to match Luke, and I followed his line and kind of learned a little bit and went, oh yeah, okay, I'm getting better. And then absolutely blew the end of the back straight, sent it across the grass, damaged the car, had to jump into the pits. Luckily, I was in the fuel window, so topped it off and started just hot lapping. And then I was doing all well and good until I noticed that Nick was catching me and missed my braking marker coming into, again, the end of the back straight. Dropped a tyre in the grass and looped the car around, so I let Nick through and then took off again. And then I was just lamenting myself going down the front straight and missed my braking marker much worse this time. Almost cleaned up Jack, so thankfully I didn't get him. And then promptly put the car straight into the tyre wall at the end of the straight, and that was the race over.
Well, I was going to say, you weren't the only person to put your car into the tyre wall at the end of the main straight there. I believe, just looking back at the results, that it was Stephen Birchnell that went in on lap 1 there after losing the brakes on the car very quickly in the piece. So, frustrating night, Snelly. It was looking good. I mean, second, third would have been a manageable, salvageable sort of result, but then the wheels fell off, as you say. Looking at the championship fight now, Michael will take the lead back. I think Nick leapfrogs you, but 3 weeks to go, a long way to go here.
Yeah, well, we're basically going to go back to the position we were 2 weeks ago because, of course, Mikey wasn't here last week.
That's right.
And I managed to take full points in that one. So I think Mikey's, unless he got a 1X, he'll be taking full points.
No, 1X or X's after the victory burnout, mate. Clean race.
Yeah, okay. Very nice. We'll have to watch that post-race, Mikey.
So, yeah, it'll just basically just go back to how it was 2 weeks ago. So I think I'll be back to being 20-odd points back behind Mikey. So going to have to really pull my finger out for the last few rounds and try and get some
double
decent
points
results.
last round, double points.
Oh, I like double points.
Yeah, we all like double points, absolutely. Hey, Benny, your thoughts quickly next week, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve?
Oh, I love that track. I will definitely be clobbering some curbs next week, that's for sure.
Michael Hammond, we know you love that track as well. Sorry, Nick, you go.
I was just saying, love it. We're all doing the same, clobbering some curbs. I love it.
And we all like the circuit. I haven't heard anyone yet say they don't like the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. It's just one of those
definitely one of the best North American tracks we go to, definitely.
Absolutely. Jackson Rayhana, I haven't brought you in yet in the post-race show here. I'm getting to you, Mikey. Stick there, mate. It's great to have you back in the chat room after a couple of weeks. Jackson, for the second week in a row, you're in the top 5 in both races. You managed 4th tonight, and just there was one moment in the race where we thought it might come unstuck for you, a small mistake, but you redeemed it and salvaged yourself nicely, a top 5. You happy with that?
Yeah, definitely, mate. It was probably as good as I was going to get tonight because I just could not get comfortable. I was a bit like Snelly, just could not get comfortable around this track and car combo. And I feel like the 10% power loss and the 150 pounds of or whatever it was, I'm not sure what it was, or something like that.
75 kilos.
75, yeah.
Yeah, so, and it's only minus 5% power.
5%, yeah. Definitely felt it tonight too. I mean, I say that, and Luke and Michael have just blown us away again. Just goes to show how good drivers they are. But yeah, no, look, I'm happy with 4th. Man, I'm really, it's probably as good as I was going to get tonight, and I had to pull every sort of trick out of the hat I could in order to get the result. So also, congrats to Nick, 3rd place, awesome for him as well. And yeah,
Absolutely.
Great job, Mikey.
Paul's just sent me through the iRacing summation of the evening. As he said, fastest lap of the race for Ben Snell, 157.8. That's cracking pace, I have to say, for someone that doesn't like the circuit. And the only lap in the 57s out of the entire field throughout that that race. So a very good effort there. Obviously, the result didn't go to plan, but hey, still fastest lap is fastest lap. And the finish order is, there's been no changes from what's showing on iRacing to what's showing on the server here, so that's good. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, no, I also just wanted to, I think we've got BOP pretty close at the moment. We had 2 BMWs, top 1 and 2, and then we had Nico in the Porsche. We had a BMW, then another Porsche.
Yep.
And their lap times, I mean, the top 5 lap times, fastest laps, were within 0.7 of a second, so it's pretty close.
I'm also going to cut in on that as well. I saw Stratty was in practice in the Porsche as well, and he was within a 10 up the top of Mikey. So the Porsche is pretty much bang on if you get someone that's like got that upper pace in it as well.
Yeah, I think this track is. I mean, it's kind of an in between track, and there's a power dependent down the back straight there. But it's it's certainly the Porsche is probably a little bit quicker through the corners than the BMW.
It's how you come off the Oak Tree corner.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, your exit speed there for sure. But I think it's BOP is pretty close, so which is good.
Indeed it is. Luke Turner, let me bring you into the conversation at this point in time. Everyone will stay there because I'll come back to you shortly, and Michael Hammond is coming up as well. It was interesting to watch your race, Luke, because, again, when we were talking about Snelly, whether he was fuel-saving or not, we were asking the same question of you after the misfortune of last week. Thankfully, it was a race where everyone had to pit, and in the end, only 4 seconds away from Michael Hammond. You're getting closer.
Yeah, it was really a race of management for me tonight. I didn't have Michael's pace, and I knew that in the first 5 laps. He went out like a jet. Yeah. And so from there, I was in front of Snelly. So I knew I was a bit quicker than him. So I was actually fuel saving to try and get a little bit further because I wasn't sure whether it'd be a safety car. None of us were going to get to the end. Yep. But I thought I'm never going to catch him, so I'll just look after the tyres. And it's the first time I ever raced at the track. Great track, but it can really punish you if you make a mistake. Like at Detroit, you might slap a wall, whereas if you get the grass here, you're mowing the grass for the next 5 seconds while you're off the road. So you've got to keep it on. And I knew it was really hot as well, so I tried to look after the tyres. And towards the end, I had the same pace as Michael, but I don't know whether he was just managing, and I probably left it a bit too late. But he was just faster, simple as.
Well, let's bring him in and have a chat. Michael Hammond, difficult week 2 weeks ago when we were at the Circuit de Catalunya. Terrific, terrific week before that, Road America. Unfortunately, not on the grid last week, but you've bounced back nicely here, again proving that you are the benchmark. Whenever you're on the grid, everyone else is using you as the benchmark. A 3.8 second win in the end. Not your biggest, not your smallest, but certainly a solid way to bounce back after a week off.
Yeah, the week off pretty much helped. Just got focused back in the sim, and it does help when it's one of my favourite tracks and car combos out there.
I was going to say, you really like the Bimmer, don't you?
Oh, it's one of my favourite cars on iRacing. It's really fun to drive. It just does everything like what you want a car to do. Like, it's good off the ripple strips. Yeah, it doesn't have much aero, and it's a car that you really have to drive to get the most out of it.
Indeed, and you certainly managed that tonight. Again, we were asking the same question of you in the opening laps of the race, because we saw that you just took off like a jet. Nick confirmed to me very early that he was pitting. We assumed that you were as well because of the way that you were going hard going early, and therefore we were wondering what Luke and Ben were doing. As it turned out, everyone had to pit, so it just turned out that you had the natural edge tonight. Your thoughts on how it all played out, because from where we were, and I think you confirmed it there earlier with 0 incidents, it couldn't have gone better if you tried to write the script.
Yeah, well, I got a pretty decent start off the standing start, and then after I got around turn 1, I seen a little bit of margin I was making on the pack, and I looked in the mirror, and Ben and Luke were having a little bit of a ding-dong battle behind me, so I just stuck my head down and just basically just drove away from him, and then after the pitch, just managed to gap and just took it easy after I pitted.
Now, I know, the other boys have already been talking about their love for the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, but I know you're a fan of that track as well.
Yeah, great track. We'll just see how many people or how far they can put their car into the wall of champions, because that is the corner that's going to make out or break out in these cars.
But not only because of the wall, but because of the curb hops and therefore the strikes and the slowdowns that apply as well. This is going to be an interesting talking point next week.
Oh, well, like I said, with the BMW and the Porsche, they really like striking over the curbs, and they do have a big... Well, the BMW is pretty wide, so to get a slow down over them curbs, like you're going to have to be really jumping them. With the Porsche, it's a bit narrower, so you probably have to be a bit more careful jumping over the curves. But just the way that they have these GT4 set up on the suspension, they just really like banging off the curbs.
Indeed, they do. Fourth win of the series for you tonight, mate. Obviously, there's a second, a fourth, and a DNR in there as well. So the consistency is key, and you've proven that. You've got the championship lead back onwards and upwards. 3 rounds to go. We know 2 venues. Any idea? Actually, I won't ask you the question. Any idea, Paul Nichols or Nick, what circuit we're heading to in week 9? Or is that a member vote thing, or what's going on?
Yeah, I think it's a member vote. We're going to have a throw-up member vote. So, yeah, I'll confirm that. I'll double-check my schedule, but it could be a member vote.
All right. Good, because all it's showing is TBA on my list here. So, but Mikey, obviously we know your form at Bathurst, we know your form at Montreal. It's now just a case of making sure that everything goes to script when you get out on the racetrack. And we're talking about this earlier with the up and comers. You sort of have control over your own race. You've just got to worry about those in front of you and those behind you, and that's where it can come undone 9 times out of 10. But now that you've got the lead back, are you confident that you can stay there for the next 3 weeks?
We'll see if Ben's team's still on funds and he keeps wanting to do some lawnmower on. But if not, it's going to be a pretty ding-dong battle between me and Ben for the top step, and with Luke in the mix, front and spanner in the works, I reckon.
Exactly. Hey, Luke, just going on that, when you look at, obviously, Bathurst, you look at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, you look at how you're edging closer week in, week out, are you feeling confident going into these final 3 races that you might have a chance of pipping them at least once?
Oh, I'll give it a crack.
Good boy.
I mean, Montreal, I haven't played that since Micropro's Grand Prix days,
oh, wow.
Since 90s, and it's a ripper track. Bathurst, hey, anything can happen there. How long's the race?
I believe it's yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a bit longer, but yeah, anything can happen.
It's going
to
be a 60-minute race.
60 minutes, yeah. I was going to say I thought it was an hour. Yeah.
Yep, 1 hour.
Yeah, Ben, I'm sure he'll be clever on the fuel and the strategy. He always seems to outfox me there. But yeah, who knows? I'll have a crack.
For sure. Now, let's throw the conversation back to Jackson Rayhana. I posed the question to Nick earlier in the evening because he confided that you weren't so happy with the Virginia full circuit as you were the short circuit that you smashed them on earlier in the up-and-comers in the Pro Mazda. If we'd had swapped the car and track combo and gone long circuit for Pro Mazda and short circuit for GT4, would it have been a better result for you tonight, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard because I didn't turn a lap in the Pro Mazda in the full circuit, obviously, because, well, kind of what's the point? It's like it would kind of give me some bad habits.
Well, that's true.
But
I'm good for that.
Look, I like my open wheelers, and Nico definitely knows that I do prefer slightly my open wheelers over my tin tops. Like, tin tops is still something fairly new to me. Obviously, coming from a karting background, the open wheelers are definitely going to suit my driving style a little bit better. But part of the learning is learning, different car and track combos, and that's why I love the challenge. And I'm still very fresh to this whole thing, but hopefully next season I'll spend less time, learning tracks and actually, being able to focus on what the car's doing and being able to set it up properly. And just stuff like that that'll make me a little bit more competitive in a field like this.
Indeed. Now, on that subject, because we're looking towards next season now, or the next series of this season, I should say, because it's only a few weeks away. We've got 3 weeks left of this one, and then, I don't know, maybe a week off, and then back straight into it. There was some conversation earlier today on the group page, Paul Nichols, about what the schedule might look like, and it looks like things are going to be even busier than what they were before.
Absolutely.
Sorry, yes. So go, Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson, I was going to Paul. I'll come back to you.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Hang there. Paul, go.
actually just in the middle of pulling up the proposed schedule. So we have so many schedules that I'm just making sure I've got the right one in front of me. So I mean, so three nights a week we'll be broadcasting. That's the plan.
Yep.
We have a week off at the end of round 10 of the current series, and then we're going to have some pre-qualifying for V8s, GT3s, and Porsche Cups. So we've got a Porsche Cup series, which is in the 911 GT3 Porsche Cup car. So it's not a GT3 for viewers that don't know the difference between the two. So GT3s have traction and ABS, whereas the GT3 Cup car doesn't have traction and doesn't have ABS. So quite a difficult car to drive, very much like a V8 supercar. So less electronic input, I would say.
Certainly, say crashes, just wait till that starts.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of the cars that you need to definitely do a lot of practice in to get confident in it. Braking is really important. Not having traction control coming out of corners is really important. The way you put the throttle down. So so we at the moment we have Monday nights is going to be intro to wings, so downforce cars. So it could be Skippies, could be Pro Mazdas, could be Indy cars, could be we don't know yet. And also Monday nights staying with GT3s. We have a kids night. So for people that are watching online, if you want your kids to get involved in iRacing and jump on, we have a ladies and kids night on Tuesday night. So
nice.
really laid back, bit of fun racing. So make sure you look us up on Facebook if you want to join, get your kids involved. We have a really good, and Dylan's doing some coaching in that, which is great. So Dylan's very quick. And he's doing a bit of coaching and mentoring, which is fantastic. And then we have TCR, GT4 currently, which is Wednesday nights. And then also behind that, or backing that up, will be the Porsche Cup series as well. And then a couple other series as well. So it's going to be a really busy roster. Looking forward to it.
So what we're looking at here, and this is the proposed schedule, again, not finalised, but it looks like we're going to have 2 races on a Monday night, 2 races on a Wednesday night, and 3 races on a Friday night.
Yes, a triple header. Yep.
Yeah, so that's going to keep us very, very busy. Intro to Wings, and then, of course, GT3's Monday night. Then it's going to be TCR GT4 with the Porsche Cup. So, I mean, sticking with the GT sort of spec there, sports cars on the Wednesday night. That's going to be really cool. Friday night, production cars, stock cars, supercars. Looking at that, we've lost Benny Snell from the convo because he's had to go off. I mean, everyone's living their own life at the moment, aren't they? Jackson Rayhana, what are you most excited about? And obviously, you're going to be keeping yourself very busy with the sim.
100% Carrera Cup. Had a bit of a drive today at Silverstone just to get prepared for the qualifying, and absolutely love the car. It's tricky, like it's really super difficult. It's like a bit of a bit like a GT car, but obviously slower. No aids or anything. It's very it really, you really have to drive it. Yeah, you have to drive it on your fundamentals. So your braking has to be right, your throttle control has to be right. Everything. It's very kind of point and squirt kind of thing as well. It suits the type of driving that I want to learn in tin tops, and I'm very, very excited, and especially considering it's fixed series too, fixed setups. So that's probably the best part about the series too, I think.
Because it's going to bring it back to the driver more so than so that's going to be an interesting point. Hey, also Jackson, interesting to note, obviously intro to Wings, you'll be all over that on a Monday night into GTs, I'd say. And the other thing too, on a Thursday night, what interests me, it's not going to be in the broadcast schedule, it's alongside the up and comers, but the club's looking at oval racing because there's a few people that want to get involved in that.
Yeah, definitely interesting route to go. But I'll be keen. I love my stock cars, so if I can find the time, I'm doing another Formula 3 series on Thursday nights at the moment. So I'll have to see whether I can fit it in if it's early enough, because the Formula 3 series does have a late start, so might see. But I'll be keen on that if the time's there.
Michael Hammond, we normally associate you obviously with the GT4 and also the production cars. Anything else that we might see you popping up in, obviously, and you're starting to really make your presence known in GT3 as well. We'll talk about that in a moment. But anything else within that we can look forward to seeing you steer in the next series?
Basically everything. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Very good. Obviously, will we see you in the V8s as well, or will we see you in the Porsches as well as the TCR GT4?
Yeah, I'll be in the V8s and Porsche.
All right, so we can look forward to more of Michael Hammond in the next series, folks. We always love it when Mikey's in the server, but he's already saying that there's 2 more races that we can look forward to seeing him in on a weekly basis, and therefore just set the benchmark there and look at the rest of the competition as it goes. Nick, I'll come to you because obviously we know you love your wings and slicks. Also, North American motorsport, you associate that with oval racing, so it's a busy schedule, and it's going to keep all of us on our toes.
Yeah, variety is a spice of life. Let's just keep adding some new bits and pieces. We're obviously rejigging the calendar because the intro to Wings and Slicks has been quite popular, but it's such a compact series. I designed it to be only 60 minutes from start to finish. So you're in, you're out, you get a bit of time on the track. I think one of the races we had close to 40 participants. So you'll be commentating that, and
thanks.
I think you'll be going off your rocker with that one too, because it's quite exciting. Myself and Mikey Hammond here, we always start at the back, so that makes it more interesting as well.
And then, of course, the quick turnaround to go. Essentially, it'll be a wrap up, restack, and we'll be going into GT3s. And
Correct.
will we? And Paul, this is probably more a question for you. Will it be again the same circuits each night? So the double header, the triple header on the same venues? Is that the aim?
Yeah, absolutely. So Intro to Wins will be on the same circuit so we're going to follow the VRS official series. So Intro to Wins will be on the same series. Same with the production cars, stock cars, and Stone Cold Racing. So Stone Cold Racing are going to sponsor the Split 1, Split 2 of V8 series. So we're going to have a development series and a Challenger series, we're going to call it. So they'll follow the official V8 supercar series for iRacing. So we're going to have same track for Monday nights, same track for Wednesday nights, maybe different combinations of tracks. So like week 2, we're going to have a short course for TCR, GT4, Porsche Cup will be the long course. And then Friday nights will be following the official V8 supercar series.
All right, so lots to look forward to there as far as the Gentleman Sim Racing Club is concerned. Just when you thought you're going to have time to take a breath, folks, we've just upped the ante. So Rob and I are going to have our work cut out for us with 7 races instead of 5 in the new season. So looking forward to all of that. Luke Turner, I didn't ask you about all of what we've just been talking about there. Will you be focusing on the TCR GT4 again, or are you looking elsewhere now?
Nah, Cup cars.
Into the Cup cars, yeah, nice.
Yeah, like the GT4 is fun, but I'm not a big fan of, the ABS and the traction control.
Yep.
Like to drive them fast, you can't rely on that stuff anyway. But I love the Cup car, like real race car, raw, no traction control, brake.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we put it on.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan. So yeah, Cup car. I mean, I'll try and do the GT3 as well because the competition's just really high in that, and they are fun. But Cup cars, that's got my name on it.
Michael Hammond, on the subject of GTs, let's go back and revisit Monday night, and I want to bring Nico in here as well because he was playing Sadie the cleaning lady at the Airbnb rather than actually in the booth with us. Now, Michael, you seem to run into trouble on a Monday night. Every time we talk you up and we're looking forward to seeing you progress through the field, you get caught up in someone else's incident or in the unfortunate event that it's your own incident as well. But talk to me about Monday night because Barber Motorsports Park produced the race of the season, but we didn't see you at the pointy end where we would have liked you to be.
Yeah, well, the Audi was not too bad there, but really get it to go fast. I had to really push on the limit, which I was doing, and I pushed it a bit too far over the limit a few times, which kind of ended my race.
Fair enough, and you weren't the only one in that boat as well. But are you enjoying the because obviously in the last GT3 series you were running the GT4 cars, they were side by side. Are you enjoying the step up to GT3?
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm sensing a little bit of frustration there, though.
Oh, not really. It's just, yeah.
What are you saying, Mike? There's people that are faster than you. Is that what?
Nah, it's not that. It's just that.
Audi's a hard car.
Yeah, I'm not in the right car that I usually drive it in the GT3s.
All right, fair enough. No, we'll leave it there, mate. Thank you very much for that. And thank you very much to Luke Turner and Jackson Ray Harner and Chris Stark and everyone else that's coming to have a chat to us tonight as well. Let's start wrapping this up because I just looked at the clock and it's 10 past 10. And some of you have got things to do tomorrow, and heaven knows I'm included in that list as well. Paul Nichols, firstly, well done on the second place in TCR. I'm still looking at your screen, just hovering over your own name there at the moment. Just quietly happy with yourself. Second place.
Look at this over here. 0 incidents.
0 incidents. Actually, let's have a look at that for the moment. So Luke Turner, 0 incidents. Also down the order, Paul Nichols.
Mikey Hammond had an incident after the race, so we'll call that a 0. Turner, 0.
Further down the order, Dylan Gray, 0 incidents as well. So just the 4 clean races there out of those that finished. So well done to all the boys there because there are 5 bonus points on offer. Quickly, Nico, let's brush over a couple of things now. Firstly, your race tonight, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you about that yet. Were you happy with second?
Oh, mate, hey, if I'm in the top 10 in a multi-class race in a slower car, I'm happy with that. And also, to Angus Cook, Angus, look, I couldn't keep up with him. So my thinking was during the race, let's try and beat Angus on points, get 0 incident points, which I did. So overall for the round, I think I'll beat him on points. That was my thinking just throughout the race. He was super quick. Some great battles there early on, but just kind of, I think there was quite a big gap there. I was quite lonely for a while. Felt a little bit like Scott, no friends, but it was good fun. Enjoyed it.
Exactly. Again, I come back to the point that we raised with Luke as well, and with Angus, I should say. Starting to forget names here at the moment. It's been a long night. When you were caught up in a battle there, perfect example with David Riddell. Were you content to just let him go, or did you want to engage in a little bit of a duel there?
No, not at all. I'm racing in a different class, so my thinking is he's fast in a straight line. Let him go. I think he passed me at one point coming down to the kind of chicane area, coming around the back of the course onto the final corner, and outbraked himself, went off track, and went, "Oh, cool, keep going." I was just driving safe. Look at the times. Angus did nearly a 2-minute flat. I was doing 2:02s. So just happy to putt around and get 0 incident points and pick up some bonus points.
And Nick, I think tonight's proven, I'll come back to you, Paul, because there's a couple more things I want to touch on yet. Nick, I think tonight's proven that no matter where you go, there's always going to be one driver that doesn't like the circuit and one driver that does like the circuit. And tonight there seemed to be a couple that were column A more so than column B, particularly Ben Snell.
It's life. It's wherever you go. And if someone's going to like it, someone's going to hate it. But, I mean, we're race car drivers, drive around the problem, and, look forward.
Yeah,
I think for someone who doesn't like the circuit and sets a fast time, really,
exactly right. Hey, Nico, did you? I mean, obviously we have a little bit of fun there talking about you cleaning the Airbnb, but did you actually get a chance to enjoy Monday night's action?
No, mate, haven't watched it.
Really?
No, haven't had time. I've been so working, but I'll definitely get a chance. I think I'm going to have a day off maybe Friday, so I'll watch it for sure.
Yep. I was going to say, it was the race of the season you missed out, so you need to go back and revisit that.
Will do.
And take earplugs with you because it got a little bit loud in the commentary booth.
Good stuff.
Well, as Nick can attest, because he was trying to drive and listen to me going ballistic at the same time. Also, obviously, Paul, while we wrap things up here, the ladies' night again a hit this week.
Yeah, look, not as many participants. So I think a couple of people couldn't get there for work commitments and so forth. But we're going to keep running that series, and we're also going to we set up a kids race.
Yep.
So from 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. and a really good turnout. Dylan was doing some coaching, as I said earlier, and some really good feedback. So look, we're going to continue doing those sort of series. I think it's really good to get people involved in the family, particularly. We have a lot of guys here that the wives and family probably go, "What are you doing down there all day?" So it's good to get them involved and get an experience. So I think that's definitely going to continue. It's really good to to get everyone involved and an appreciation of what we do. My wife's been involved a couple of races, and she actually rage quit last night, which is quite funny.
Oh, you become like the people you hang around.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
I just love how the wags have caught the bug and they go, "Oh wow, you're playing on your little computer," and then they've done it and they've gone, "Oh wow, this is actually really fun."
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly right.
Until you do it, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
I was joking earlier about wishing I had the money for a Porsche, but I'm actually quite content with my Hyundai little i30 for the moment, so I might just tuck that to one side. Great night tonight, really good racing, and plenty more where that came from, of course, as we say. Once we know the calendar for the next season within this year of iRacing, we'll let you know right here, exclusive to Do a Drift Esports, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, proudly brought to you by Central Coast Subaru, LJ Waganda, and Oculair. And of course, we should point out, if you've like what you've heard tonight, like what you've seen, like what you're hearing about what's coming up, feel free to get in touch with Paul and Nick via the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Incorporated on Facebook, the group page. Join the group, let them know that you're an iRacing person or a fanatic, and go from there and inquire about what's coming up, because there's plenty coming your way. On that subject, have I forgot anything? Actually, I have forgot one thing. Driver of the night. So, I think it's hard to look past Jackson, of course, for obvious reasons, when you look at the results from the up-and-comers, when you win by 41 seconds in a safety car-free race, and you lap everyone up to 7th. It's pretty hard to go past him, but some really impressive performances in there. Tony De Rossi in 2nd, Julia Mucky in 3rd. There's promising signs for a few drivers in the up-and-comers at the moment, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to bring up Nick's drive in the pilot series. So from 10th to 3rd.
Yep,
that's a good drive.
There's other places.
Come on. Don't be so
I
modest.
was actually going to say completely off topic to Chris Stark and Scott, all those boys that were in race control, because that's probably the most in race control for a midweek series. So my driver of the night is not drivers, is the race control guy.
Yeah, hats off to that.
Yep, no, well done to Starkey and the team in there as well. And it was good to have Starkey pop in and have a chat to us post-race as well. As we say, not too much to report, but if there are any changes with the appeals or stewards' reviews after the fact, then we'll obviously keep you across that as well. And as far as the GT4 TCR race is concerned, obviously Michael Hammond with the 0, and the drivers that got 0 incident points, you can't look past them. In terms of moving up through the field, Angus Cook from 19th to 7th in a TCR car is very impressive, but Nick, as Paul correctly pointed out, from 10th up to 3rd. And Nico Nico, you gained as many positions as Nick did. He went from 10th to 3rd, you went from 17th to 10th, so well done.
Yeah, and I had 0 incidents. Drive with the day.
I'll take it back.
Just to stick the boot in.
What do we win? Frozen
well
chook?
Yeah, frozen chook. Or just a packet of fish from the freezer section at Aldi. Good work. Hey, well done, boys. Great night. Really good to have your company as per usual. We reconvene and do it again on Friday night, but hang around because I want to have a chat to you off air as well. Let's wrap this baby up. Thanks to Robert Hazelrun and the team at Do a Drift Esports, as per usual, for streaming the broadcast of Wednesday Night Motorsport for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Live, exclusive, commercial-free and dangerous. All that sort of stuff, as per usual, here on Do a Drift Esports. We reconvene on Friday night. We go to Phillip Island. Production cars, 6:30. Stock cars, just after 8 o'clock. The doubleheader back in its usual frame. And looking forward to the battle between Glenn Postlethwaite and Callum Watmore resuming. And of course, we look ahead on Monday night. It will be all the action from the GT3 series. We head to Suzuka. We're going to Asia for the first time in this season. We had a couple of Japanese stops with Tsukuba and also Okayama in the last series, but this will be the first time in Series 2 that we go to Japan, so looking forward to that. Next Wednesday night, the doubleheader again, and we stay in North America, but we go from the United States to Canada. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, one of my all-time favourite circuits. Always good getting up to watch a race in the middle of the night from there, but we'll do it in prime time next Wednesday night from 7:30 for you, with the up-and-comers from 7:40 in the GT4 race, with TCR boys thrown in for good measure from 8:40 as well. So that's it. As far as all of that is concerned, really good night of motorsport here. Although, Paul, one thing that I did notice, and it might just be an instance of the world's starting to get back to normality in some way, shape or form, the fact that we have lost a few competitors from the TCR GT4 series. Is that a concern?
I think this track was the concern. I don't think it was the participation. I mean, this track's not the most favourite track in the world. I'm not a fan of it, but actually tonight I really enjoyed it. It was really good fun.
What's wrong with you people? This is a fantastic
track.
track.
I know. It's a fantastic. I mean, it's not a free track, so if you don't have it, you don't. I mean, really going to buy it for $15 Australian. So yeah, it's okay.
Once.
Yeah.
No, that's a fair
You
point
use
as well.
it more then.
Hopefully the numbers get back up next week. Nick, Paul, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Zach.
And thank you to you out there for watching as well across Facebook, Twitch, and also YouTube. Hope you've enjoyed Wednesday Night Motorsport for LJ Hooker Gaindar, for Central Coast Subaru, and for Oculair, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, right here on Do a Drift Esports. Look forward to doing it all again with you on Friday night, 6:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Production cars, stock cars, from the land down under, we head to Phillip Island, the gateway to hypothermia. It's about the only thing that's allowed to happen in Victoria at the moment. Oh, wait, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry to all the Victorians out there. We know you're doing it tough. We'll see you next time round, right here on Do a Drift Esports. Until then, from us, it's good night.